Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Dad's Turn to Talk. I will be your moderator this week. My name is Josh, and I want you all to, I want to remind everyone to subscribe, hit that like button. We also timestamp, and so if there's any topics that you want to get to right away, feel free to go to that specific timeline in the video. Anyway, tonight we have my usual partners in crime, as well as our special guest. She's been on so much, she might end up becoming
I know, she's like our usual guest now.
a regular, yeah. She's just like
honorary guest.
awesome, honorary guest.
Yeah.
And
I'm like,
so
honestly, I don't mind.
I know she loves it. She's the best. Let's go ahead and introduce Lily from her from 300 Mirrors and from Damon Dorks. Lily, welcome back to Dad's Turn to Talk. What's going on?
Yes, thank you guys. Yay. You know, I always have such a good time. That's why, yeah, it's never really difficult. Whenever Bob asks and he's like, hey, I'm like, yes. I'm like, let's do it. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. I'm not going to say anything because I'm going to save it. But there's so much to talk about and I'm so excited. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Welcome. All right, so let me go ahead and I guess introduce my co-hosts. The first one I've known for way too long. Bob, how's it going, buddy?
You know what? I don't know what it is, but for some reason this week I feel like a winner. I don't know what it is, but
I bet.
I'm feeling pretty good. So no, actually everything's good. I'm actually working on a video over on my channel. I've been putting it together actually since Friday. So just a lot of prep work because I'm going to be doing a ranking of my top 5 favorite Christmas movies along with full of honorable mentions there. But you know how I love to throw video footage in. And so it took me a while to get video footage together for 7 movies. So because a lot of the movies that I picked, they're older. So the trailers are bad quality. So I had to get video clips and make my own trailers of them. So it took a little while because I wanted to make it look good. So I barely started filming that today. Hopefully get it out in the next couple of days.
Cool. Can't wait. All right. And our next co-host, I'm pissed off at right now.
Darn.
Because, well, we'll explain it later in fantasy football.
Oh, yeah, we will.
But, Derek, how are you?
Oh, gosh, Josh. I don't know. I mean, I know Bob feels like a winner, but I don't feel too bad either.
Of course not.
I will say, though, I'm looking forward to Bob's movie reviews coming up here. But what I'm more looking forward to, Bob, is your top 5 Hanukkah films. We'll be expecting those later this week.
Hey, are there that many Adam Sandler films out there?
There's a lot of Adam Sandler films, but there's only about 2 about Hanukkah, unfortunately.
I know. I'm trying to
Christmas movies have toppled the Hanukkah films.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get more of a win on that.
Chinese food on Christmas Day. That's the movies and Chinese food for us Jews on Christmas Day. That's what we do.
Did you ever hear that bit that Jon Stewart did?
No,
like,
what?
Everybody wants to know what we do. You really want to know what we do? We sleep in.
Yes,
That's
exactly. Unless you have kids, then you never sleep.
Then you never sleep. That's right.
You never sleep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Lily, again, thank you for coming on to our show.
Right.
Really appreciate it. And why don't we go ahead and get started, Bobo?
All right.
Oh, dear Lord.
I think that was more fun than the actual show. So.
Yeah.
Last night, Star Wars debuted. Another show called The Skeleton Crew, starring Jude Law and I don't know who else. The first 2 episodes were released on Disney Plus. We have all watched the first 2 episodes, and we are here to review them. I don't want to say too much. I'm going to let everybody else talk about it first, and then I will chime in. You know me, ladies first. Lily, let's hear it.
Okay, well, I had to keep a couple of things in mind going into this. How terrible the Acolyte was, and that I saw this was a little bit more geared towards children.
Right.
So I had to keep that in mind, right? I'm probably not the target audience. They're making this for kids, whatever. That being said, I'm pretty sure that all of us here got into Star Wars when we were little kids, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they're trying to dumb all this down for kids when they already had something like The Mandalorian that was getting the attention of children. And you didn't necessarily have an entire cast of kids. I keep saying it over and over again. My little nephew is 10 years old. Mando is his favorite character.
No.
You don't need to have children characters to get a kid's attention. I was a little kid and my favorite was friggin' Darth Vader. Like,
No.
like you really do not need to dumb these things down for children. That's my first thing. 2, I guess because they are dumbing it down for the kids and this entire cast is children, it could have been worse. I honestly think these kids actually did better than the 2 twins from The Acolyte as far as acting. I didn't feel like they were as annoying. And maybe that was just the directing, that they told them not to be annoying. I don't know. But I didn't hate it, but I'm not like, oh my God, finally Star Wars is back. Because this feels to me like a little bit more generic kind of space show for kids, whatever. But you do have the Star Wars elements in it. I did like the beginning scene of it because I was like, oh, okay, we're starting with pirates and like different aliens, and it's not just humans. Like, that's finally cool. Like, we finally get to see more alien designs. So I liked that. And when they finally explained what was going on with the, suburban Star Wars neighborhood, I was like, okay, I can see that. Now tell me a little bit more. So hopefully we'll find out more about what's going on. And I'm glad that that's some kind of like secret planet, whatever and it's not actually like a suburban planet in the middle of freaking Star Wars. Cause I was like, how, why would you do this? That's so weird.
Right.
But so far the story's not that bad. Like I said, it could have been worse, like much worse, but I think that's probably because we just came off of The Acolyte and everybody thought that was terrible. That in comparison, this isn't as bad.
Did you watch it with your nephew?
I didn't. No, he hasn't been able to come over because they started school again. So I'll probably catch up with him probably tomorrow. So I'll see what I did show him the trailer, and he told me that it looked kind of interesting. So I guess we'll see what he says when he actually watches the TV show. But yeah,
you can hear the hope in her voice from miles. So.
So yeah, it's a show. It's a TV show that happened. I mean,
it was there.
It was there. So characters are like, I'm like, okay, they're being kids, whatever. But the little girl who's supposed to be, I guess, like their leader now or whatever, she's very annoying. She's probably the most annoying character. I do not like this little girl character. I was like, which little girl acts like this when they're small? No one. I don't.
We had the little girl boss.
Yeah, the little girl boss. That was so annoying. Like, I remember being a bossy girl when I was little, but not like this. Like, it's so weird how they made it a we don't want to invite boys along, and like we have to let the boys do all the work, and it's like, oh my God. So, definitely do not like her. And yeah, well, that's pretty much what I have for the first 2 episodes. Could have been worse, but it's not anything that I'm like, yeah, Star Wars is back.
Star Wars is back, baby.
No. No, not
All right, Derico, what did you think?
Well, it's nice to see Star Wars take an attempt at children's programming, because what else are they going to do at this point? I swear there were like several times where I thought watching this, like it could immediately turn into like PBS Kids, where they're like, look, this is space. And like they would show like the solar system and how you and then the Jude Law is going to be our LeVar Burton, like out of Reading Rainbow.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be great. We're all going to learn
That
something.
is so good.
It pretty much echoes what Lily said. Yeah, okay, it's there. Yay. I honestly, I'm not even sure what to think about this show yet. The first one just dragged on for so long about a kid missing his test.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Now I'm not gonna lie. If I had the kind of little cruiser that he had in order to get to school, that would have been awesome. I wouldn't have been in school if I had one of those things.
Yeah.
But
Probably
that's a different story for a different time. Lily is correct about the acting being better than the twins in The Acolyte. As a matter of fact, those elephant babies acted better than those twins in The Acolyte.
Oh my gosh, elephant baby.
Oh, jeez.
And all they did was point.
That was it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that scene traumatized me so much.
See, now we just reminded Lily of something
Yes,
that's really.
Yeah.
yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the funny story. I think Bob probably saw my tweet. So my brother always told me, do not watch the holiday special. It's probably the worst thing you're ever gonna see. So don't ever. I've never watched it. So when that scene popped up with the holograms, I was like, "What is this? Has Disney like lost their freaking mind? This looks so weird for children's programming." Come to find out that that's part of the holiday special. I had no idea. That was so traumatizing. It brought out like childhood trauma that I don't even have.
Yeah. Like you're scarred and you can't even feel as to why.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know it was part of the holiday special until you posted that.
I didn't either. That was so weird. And someone else commented and they said I must have repressed this because I don't remember watching this.
So which part was part of the holiday special?
The
they're watching the little holograms and the little characters are dancing.
Oh God, yeah.
That was
it. Jeez.
Yeah. I apologize, Lily.
Oh.
That's okay. Sorry, I had to like cut you off. I was like,
no, it's all right. No, this is a safe space where you're allowed to share your thoughts.
Like all traumatized forever.
Yep. So I guess we'll give it another go. I don't know. I feel like that's why I wanted to make a comment about Lily's like signs of hope. It's just like you know that there's probably not going to be too much of it here. At best, it's Goonies and Star Wars. At worst, it's Acolyte children. So I'll give it another go. Maybe another 2 episodes. Like I did with The Acolyte. I stopped at episode 4, and I know that's all I needed to watch. I just did both in an upfront fashion. I'm like, that's all you're getting out of me. I'm not watching this anymore. And I think you actually said, Derek, you made the right call. So
you did.
Maybe we'll do the same with this one, but I'll give it a little bit more of a stretch of highway. But I have a feeling that if I say I hate this, that means I'm going to hate children. And that's how Star Wars likes to. That's what Star Wars did with The Acolyte, where if you don't like this, then you're racist or sexist, and if you hate this, you're going to hate. That means you hate kids. Which is not true. I just hate everybody else's kids. I like my own. No, I'm kidding.
Fair.
So that's my take on it. We'll give it a little bit more time, I guess.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Babo. Can't even talk tonight. Let's hear it. Oh no. No.
I half expected to come into tonight and say that a turd is a turd, whether it's hard or soft. It doesn't really matter. It's still a turd. but I didn't hate this. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
No.
I'm not saying I liked it, but I didn't hate this. I think there's actually some potential here, but like Lily said, they dumb it down so much that it's hard to really kind of get into it. And I get it. It is for kids, but like Lily said, we were all small. I mean, when we started watching Star Wars, we were watching The Empire Strikes Back and seeing Luke get his hand cut off and Han being put into carbonite and whatnot. So, I think the kids can take it, if you just want to tell them.
How the heck gets choked down when I was like 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we thought it was cool where Darth Vader was walking around choking everybody. Fine, we used to like that. So I wonder we're so disturbed now. But anyway,
that was funny.
Despite some of the things that, or despite there being potential, I thought there were some things that were really lacking and some things that were kind of cool. Like I also liked the opening sequence until the Wolfman walked in, and then I half expected to see Frankenstein and Dracula walk in with him. So I was like, wow. And then you had I'm assuming the captain, the Boba Fett wannabe, with the mask. I'm assuming that was Jude Law. And
what gave you that idea?
Yeah, no. Also, the scene where that, or not just the scene, but that little elephant dude. I mean, come on.
Neil.
Bad. I mean,
Neil.
And the character's okay. It's not a problem with the character. It's just his look. I mean, like,
he's an elephant.
It's kind of weird. You can't see him talking half the time unless he turns his face, and then you can see his mouth moving. But otherwise, you can't even see him talking. And it's just kind of weird. And then you catch him in the bathtub at one point.
Elephants seem to get clean too, Bob. That's not fair.
Yeah.
I thought he's hygienic.
So the weirdest thing to me though was that robot when they got into the ship, the droid.
Yeah.
And, you talk about leading into the pirate thing. I mean, he said, "Army Captain." He's got one eye, and he's like, "Arr." And I kid you not, he has a peg leg. There's the scene where he's right before he gets shot, and he's walking away. He's got a peg leg, and one eye, and he's like, "Arr."
Watch. Lucasfilm will make a movie about him.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, boy, they really leaned into the pirate thing on this one.
Arr.
Oh, man.
And it's true because the little girl, she's like, "I'm your captain." "Army Captain,"
Oh my god.
And of course, I've exaggerated a little bit, but it wasn't too far off. I mean, it was pretty close to being a pirate accent. I was just like, man, they're really leading into this thing about space pirates and stuff like that. And I guess it's kind of cool because, again, it's kids. But I'm just like, and that really goes back to this idea that this is Goonies in space, because they were searching for pirate treasure. And you've got the pirates that are now looking for their planet because, they think riches are there and stuff. So, I'm curious to see where it's going to go. But I just like, the only thing I kept thinking as I was watching it, it's better than The Acolyte. And it's probably better than Book of Boba Fett too. So, oh man, it's not the worst Star Wars show that they've put out. I think it's competently made, at least through the first 2 episodes, except for a few things here and there. And I think a lot of that is because they are dumbing it down for kids. I mean, you've got the Goonies aspect, the Star Wars aspect. Well, they're out in the forest. I half expected to see E.T. out there.
Yeah.
Just
so fit right in.
Yeah, especially when they're on the bikes. It's like, overall, I mean, it wasn't too bad. I'm gonna give it another shot. Like I said, I didn't hate it, but I didn't particularly like it either. I mean, we'll check it out. I'm intrigued enough to at least watch the next episode.
Yeah.
All right. So I thought the first 5 minutes was awesome. I agree with Lily.
Yeah.
And then you got to
Part-
minute 6.
Yeah.
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 And then minute
Then-
6 and
Then you
why?
went to the gated community.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with you guys. I didn't hate it, but it didn't feel like Star Wars to me at times. You know, it felt like Goonies in space. I think, God, like, first of all, you have the elephant sitting in the bathtub. Then you have them thinking it's a Jedi temple, but it's a ship. And they take off, and the dad isn't freaked out. Yes, he starts to freak out in episode 2, but you think he'd be like, "No, don't stop," something like that.
He was more freaked out that he missed his test.
Yeah, he was upset. That whole test thing was just, I don't know, was weird. God, what was the other part that?
Is it
What
just
test is that? They're like, he's like,
have to get
you're going to get a point deduction for this, and now you're going to have to study, but you're going to have to get every question right.
Get that.
Well, and that was the
Oh
other
my
thing
God.
too. Didn't that just feel like it dragged on for like
I mean,
it took 25 minutes just for this thing to somewhat get going.
yeah. I mean, it was just weird. And then, okay, so the whole Jude Law thing. Bob and I were talking earlier before I watched the second episode. He's not a Jedi. I think it's all a hoax because, first of all, stuck in that prison, no way. He would have gotten out of there like that. So
Oh,
he's
you mean
definitely
like
not
he's?
a Jedi.
You mean like you think he's Sith? I thought you meant just like he can't play Star
No,
Wars.
I don't even think he's a Sith. Wait, no, I did think
It's
about
some
that.
sort of magnet that he pulled the key over with. You know?
Well, yeah, because I mean, do you guys remember in like the other terrible show that wasn't the Acolyte, Obi-Wan, where that guy was pretending to be a Jedi and he
Right.
actually wasn't?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's what I was thinking of exactly. Now, I will play devil's advocate because we have Lily on. She might like this. If he was a Sith, could it be somebody that Darth Vader had trained? Because isn't it in the comics, Lily? Didn't he train Starkiller?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he his apprentice? Maybe
You're
they.
giving him too much credit,
Yeah,
Josh.
you're
I am.
giving them way
I
too much credit.
I agree with you guys. I'm just saying. I don't think he's a Jedi. Don't think he's a Jedi.
Yeah, I
When-
mentioned that to Josh. He's a con man.
I was barely paying attention. I know they set up the story at the beginning. When is this supposed to be set? Like, what timeline is
shoot.
this?
Sometime
What was it? It was a few years after the.
I want to
the
say
New Republic.
Yeah.
5 years after the Battle of Endor, is what I
5
think.
years after the Battle of Endor.
So this is taking place the same time as the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I think so.
It's because I really, honestly, Josh, I really hope that he doesn't turn out to be a Jedi because I'm getting kind of tired that basically every single Jedi survived Order 66. This is how many Jedi already that are alive and well?
I mean, look, there were people in the galaxy who did survive it, who never showed up at the Jedi Temple. They with all the comic books and everything. But yeah, I mean, it could get, I don't
I mean,
know.
they're just inventing new Jedi
they're just
every time they
inventing
need
new
one.
Jedi.
They're inventing new Jedi, but like back in the day, though, there were Jedi who had, escaped, who weren't there, but then Vader went after them. That's why the Emperor was like, you have to go after these, just like in that book we talked about, new Dark Lord Rising, Lily. The
Mhm.
Emperor had sent him off to attack Jedi on Kashyyyk, who were hiding in Kashyyyk.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I don't like about it is that with every single TV show that comes out, with every single Jedi that they introduce, you're just making Darth Vader look so incompetent. Like he did not hunt everyone down. Like,
you know what? It is possible maybe that more of them survived Order 66. I mean, if they could take lightsabers through the gut and not die, then why not? I mean,
Yeah.
I would believe it more if these were like people that I'm sure the Jedi were not able to find every single Force sensitive child to train them as a Jedi, right? So I would like it better if maybe this character were somebody that knew that he had the Force or something, and he kind of figured out that he could use it, but he's not a trained Jedi. I think that would probably be a little bit better. Because yeah, I am tired that every single show it's like, oh no, another Jedi that survived Order 66. Like, yay! I'm tired of that now.
Yeah, I don't think he's a Jedi. I just based on that, and look, I'm gonna watch it. We'll see what happens. It's nothing insulting to Star Wars, like the Acolyte was. The one thing I will take from this, and it's something Bob and I have talked about, is creating new stories. Well, this is a new story. So let's give it a chance. Let's see if they can. Yes, it's definitely got to focus on kids. There are some Star Wars stuff that I'm like, okay, it's not bad. But again, just the I don't know. It's like you guys said, it's definitely geared towards children. Maybe it'll be pushed towards, adults. How many episodes are supposed to be? 8?
8 probably.
Yeah,
I'm
it sounds
guessing.
about right.
Let me see.
So yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be, again, better than the Acolyte. And it's so funny. The Acolyte, she had not the right idea, but it was an interesting idea. She just didn't understand the mythos of Star Wars. She did not understand the story.
Can we please not talk about that anymore?
No. Yes, sir. I give up. But Bob's back. Okay, so I don't know if you heard any of that, but
I heard some of it. I had to go to the other room real quick. My cat was hacking up a hairball. So.
Oh, cat.
Yep.
We were just talking about Star Wars. We were just talking about there's some aspects of this movie that maybe they'll change and gear towards adults. And then I just started talking about the Acolyte, and Derek said stop.
Please. No, I asked you to please. I asked politely.
You did. So
thank you.
So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens with Jude Law.
I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think this is going to end up being one and done.
What are critics saying? Is anyone like?
I don't know.
I haven't read my own reviews.
Let me see.
Let me look at
Rotten Tomatoes.
I haven't listened to Theory to see what I know. He released something.
You know what? Yeah, I haven't been able to see exactly like his breakdown of the show, the episode, but he tweeted last night, and it sounds like he really enjoyed it because he said that this took him back to his childhood and everything that reminded him of why he liked Star Wars. So I think he really enjoyed it. But I mean, I understand where he's coming from. It's just that I said it earlier. Why are they dumbing it down for the kids? You don't need to do that. I was excited with Star Wars watching the original stuff. Like, you didn't need to dumb it down. I didn't need to see like 4 little kids running around being little kids. Like, it's because it's just hard to believe, especially when they got to like, first of all, they're in the ship, right? They take off, they land at this like space station, whatever, full of pirates.
Wow.
How is that believable that all of these kids are still alive?
Yeah.
It's just not believable. When it got to that point,
your parents aren't freaked out?
No, it just when it got to that point and everybody was surrounding them because they wanted the credits, right? I was like, there's no way. There's no freaking way that everyone is scared of this little girl with a blaster. Like, are you kidding me? There's no way. This is Star Wars. These are pirates. Do you think they would have cared? Like, no.
So this is a high approval rating, by the way.
Yeah, so right now
that's super high.
It's at 95% with all critics. Now, on the audience score, it's 87%, but that's with only 250 plus ratings. So
no.
I don't think it hits the next mark until it gets to 500. So I'm not quite sure.
Those are probably the diehard fans anyway. Of what
I don't know.
People actually like. I don't know.
You know what? I think Theory, another reason Theory might have enjoyed it was because we've been getting such bad Star Wars that, even if you get just okay Star Wars, it's like, whoa, this is really good.
Look, it doesn't suck.
Yeah, I get that, but that's the thing though. That shouldn't be what we measure everything against. Like we
I know,
shouldn't
but
be
it's gotten to that
measuring it
point.
against the acolyte. As
I
if
know, but it's gotten to that point, Lily. Things are
yeah,
bad
because then
to
in
get
that case,
good.
everything that comes out is gonna be better than the acolyte, and we're supposed to automatically just like it. So then Disney's gonna be like, oh, well, see, guys, they enjoyed Skeleton Crew. Let's give them more of this. And it's like, no, no, actually, this isn't what I want.
More
Yeah, I don't.
children's programming. That's what it is.
Yeah, unless something happens in the next few episodes, because like I said, I'm intrigued enough to see what's going to happen. But unless something serious happens, I'm,
Right.
you know, this is not something I would want a second season of. We'll put it that way. At least
Yeah.
based on these first 2 episodes.
Oh,
It's just
just
I
because
think they really screwed themselves over. I feel like they had the gold mine with the Mandalorian because that brought in a lot of non-Star Wars fans because this was
Yep.
something different. You didn't have to watch every single Star Wars thing to understand what was happening. I'm sorry, Mando is very attractive, and that brought in a lot of women. You have Baby Yoda, that brought in a lot of kids and women because we like small, adorable things. And you had the Mandalorian who was out there being a badass, and you had a lot of scenes with him where he didn't have Grogu. So that was like a win-win kind of for everybody. I don't understand how they messed this up so bad. And then that they took it off the air so they could make a movie that's not going to come out for another 2 years. Do you think people are going to remember The Mandalorian in 2 years? All these kids that got into it during that time are going to grow out of it. Like Disney screwed themselves over with The Mandalorian.
When was season 3? That was in not this year. It was last year.
Last
right?
year. Yeah, last
So
year.
yeah. So by the time that comes out, you're talking 3 years in between.
Yeah, because my nephew's already getting really tired of it. And sometimes we'll sit there and rewatch the old episodes of The Mandalorian because he's like, when is this movie coming out? And I'm like, 2 more years. And he's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. It's just, and then he doesn't like season 3. So that's even less stuff that he can watch because he can only watch the first 2 seasons.
But hold on one second, guys. I have a question. You just said the time period. The Batman's going to be 3 years.
But we
When-
also got the Penguin in between.
Yeah, that's true. We
Right.
did.
Yeah.
The Batman, seeing Batman on the big screen.
But again, we got the
You know what
Penguin,
I mean?
and the
Or
Penguin was
kind of-
was so good that,
But we're also
We're
I-
and
hurt
that's
by,
a whole different. That's a whole different.
yeah, that's a whole
yeah.
we are hurt by
different.
Star Wars. We are hurt by Star Wars, and that's what this is about.
Well, some more than others. I'm just
Yeah.
laughing about it now,
Yeah,
Josh.
exactly. Well, no, okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about the Batman versus Star Wars. The Star Wars has so much backed up by it now that has not been good. The
Yeah.
Batman, has hits and misses, but especially with what we got with the last film, which maybe it wasn't a total clobbering home run, but it certainly was not bad. And then
That was a good film.
the show that came after that, The Penguin, was awesome.
Right.
So now you can run to the hills with that and wait all you want because people will be
Yeah,
anticipating.
like you said, Derek, the Batman itself was good. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't the best Batman film or anything like that, but it was good. And
Yeah.
so you got a little bit of goodwill, and the Penguin just built on that goodwill to now we're more excited. Now, what I'm hoping is that James Gunn's universe will be good because then that'll keep fans excited about stuff from DC. Because if the next stuff sucks, then we're in trouble. Which reminds me, Creature Commandos comes out in a few days. So
Yes.
next week we got to talk about Creature Commandos. We got to check that out.
I
That's
finally
the
saw, I
anime,
finally caught the
right?
trailer for that. It does look interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay. So, all right. Well, let's see what happens. We'll, take a look and see episode 3 next Tuesday, I believe it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes back to Tuesdays starting next week.
All right. Guys, have any other questions or comments about this, or should we move on?
Good luck.
Yeah.
We have to do this still, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
see what happens next week.
Okay. All right. Fine. I'll play ball.
All righty. Let's go on to the
Get on.
next one.
That we like.
right. So
Okay.
part 2 of Cobra Kai was released last week?
No, it was a couple weeks ago.
A couple
Weeks
weeks.
ago, sorry. And we've all watched it. I'll give my opinion very soon. But let's go ahead. Bob, let's start with you this time. What did you
Ooh.
think of part 2 of Cobra Kai, season 6?
Okay. I've already mentioned this to you, Josh. Personally, I think the season itself is one of the weaker seasons of Cobra Kai. And I'm also including the first 5 episodes in that because these last parts, these are part of a whole season. Now, that being said, a weak season with Cobra Kai is better than a great season of The Acolyte and a lot of these other shows out there. No, I mean, you could have a weak season of this and you're still going to enjoy it because these characters are just a blast to be around. I have a good time anytime I'm in this world. I will say, I think they really laid on the cheese factor on in this season, especially in episode 6 when they were at the party for all the senseis and Chosen shows up drunk. I was like, okay, this is kind of cheesy here. And then there were a few storylines where I felt they were really reaching for story, like they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do. Like, for example, Miguel and Johnny have to go home, but they come right back like within 24 hours. Like,
Yeah, that was weird.
I was like, what?
Win. There's one thing I want you to do. Win.
I'm like, really?
Yeah, she couldn't tell them that on the phone. Like,
Exactly. She could have just said, no, I'm okay. You don't need to worry about it. Just keep fighting. Everything's okay. The baby's fine. But no, he flies all the way home just to turn around and fly back. And they take Kenny with them. Now, I thought that was kind of cool that they did get some reconciliation, or not even reconciliation, but they were able to come together, Daniel's kid and Kenny, and they were able to put their differences aside. So I thought that was kind of cool. The highlight of the season for me was actually something that I'm not sure most people would think of it as the highlight, but I thought that was my favorite part, and that was Chosen hooking up with the Cobra Kai sensei.
Yeah.
I was like, when I saw them kissing, I was like, Chosen, you go, boy, yeah.
She's gorgeous. Something about
Yeah, she is.
She's stunning.
beautiful. Yeah.
And no, but I thought it was cool because he had his heart broken from Kumiko because like dude shows up in his bathrobe and or shirtless and whatnot, and I'm like, so this was kind of cool to see him, finding somebody, and you could tell she was really into it because when he was saying, well, it was a mistake, she was all mad the rest of the thing. So she really liked him. So I thought that for me, that was the highlight. A lot of the fighting at the Sekai Taikai, I thought looked really, really cool too. I thought the storyline with Daniel where they kidnapped him was a little cheesy. Even though I liked him having to fight his way out, I just thought it was a little cheesy storyline. And the ending, of course, I'll let somebody else talk about the ending, but that was pretty shocking. And I thought it was a good cliffhanger to end it. Now, like I said, I thought this was one of the weaker seasons so far, but we still got 5 episodes to go. So after I see those 5, that might change my opinion entirely of the season.
What, Bob?
But I like it still.
Everybody know these are spoilers we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been out for a couple of weeks, but you're right here.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
There we go. All right.
Because we can.
Geez, Josh, you gotta remind me next time to throw that up right away.
All right, Lily, what did you think of season 6, part 2?
I know Bob just said that it was very cheesy, but I'm a woman. I love cheesy. So for me, honestly, I think the weakest season that we've had of Cobra Kai was still season, I think it was 4. What season are we on? 6, right?
Yeah.
Which was 4.
Yeah, I think it was season 4, I believe, that was probably the weakest for me, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, so this season for me hasn't been that terrible. I think I've already gotten used to the fact that it is kind of cheesy and
Yeah.
that these plots just keep happening every single season. And it's just like in a different world just because they break out into karate fights literally everywhere in public every 5 minutes. So you can assume that you're not going to get something that's completely grounded in reality. So this is going to be a little bit cheesy every single time you watch it. But having said that, they kind of get you used to that from the very first season that you're like, oh, okay, well, it doesn't necessarily bother me. And the little plots, yeah, they do get a little silly. Like when they kidnap Daniel, I was like, why is this happening?
They keep him in a dog cage.
Yeah, I'm like, why is he in a dog cage?
No.
Bring it
Like,
out
what's
here,
going
somebody.
on? Yeah, like that was weird. And yes, it was also weird when Johnny left with Miguel to the mom, and then she sends them right back, and she's like, "No, go in." And I'm like, "What? So why did we need the whole plot on the airplane with that man being super rude to Johnny?" It's
Oh,
just so
God.
weird.
Guy.
But yeah, there were a lot of good moments. Obviously we had like Silver coming back, and that's always super interesting because now like Kreese is there, like everyone's there, and you're like, oh great, like it's gonna turn into like a big old mess, and of course it does. And I know the highlight for Bob was Chosen and Miss Beautiful Boss Lady over there. For me, my highlight has been 6 freaking seasons coming. I am so glad that Robbie finally won something because every single season this
God,
kid
Jesus.
gets shafted.
Jeez,
Every single season from the beginning. Like, I just thought it was so unfair because season 1, yes, I understand we were following Miguel a little bit more, whatever. But he trained under Daniel and he looked like he was really into it. And like his dad is Johnny. And you'd figure that, you know, he'd also have a lot of talent too. But I feel like every single season, he always gets sidelined for Miguel. And I don't like that. And because of that, for some reason, I just do not like Miguel's character. I have this like irrational, like not hatred because I don't hate him. It's just this irrational like dislike for Miguel that I'm like, of course he's gonna be number 1. Of course he's gonna win. Of course it's all about Miguel. But finally, starting this season where Robbie finally got captain, I was like, yay! But then they threw in the stupid storyline of him being really distracted over Tori, and that he started losing everything. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I think I even texted Bob and I was like,
You did?
I was like, let me guess. They're gonna like shove Robbie to the side and make Miguel captain because he's the one that's gonna come in and save everything.
And I had already seen it at that point, so I was trying not to say anything.
I was so mad about it too. I'm so glad they didn't do that and that he got it together and he finally was able to win because that made me super excited. But yeah, I was kind of scared there at the end too, and I think I texted you this too, that I was like, oh my gosh, I honestly thought they were gonna freaking kill Robbie. When that kid grabbed the knife at the end, I was like, this is it. They gave Robbie his shining moment only to kill him off because Miguel is supposed to be our hero.
What I thought was going to happen is not that they were going to kill him off, but that he was going to get stabbed and he wouldn't be able to continue. And so that's how Miguel would get back to the top spot, or that Daniel would get stabbed. I was thinking one of the two was going to happen.
I thought Daniel was getting stabbed.
I didn't see it coming that the kid fell on the knife himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That was
Killed him right away. I mean, like he was gone.
he was gone. He was dead.
Crazy.
That was it.
Yeah, that was crazy for me. So I'm glad. I'm glad it wasn't Robbie. I'm kind of glad it wasn't anybody that we actually came to care for. That would have been crazy, but I feel like they didn't want to do it because they probably would have gotten a lot of backlash for that. Yeah, they did the right thing because we've been following all of these kids for like 6 seasons, and I don't think you can kill off one of the main ones at this point.
No.
But yeah, no, that got really, really, really interesting. And like Tori, I'm so over it with her. I'm over her character. She's so annoying. Always like, oh my gosh, I've been a victim my whole life. And it's like, shut up, dude. Oh my god. Like,
See, I've
quiet.
liked Tori for the first 5 seasons because I really enjoyed. She was I found her to be the most interesting character, and then this season, I'm that's kind of how I'm like you, Lily. I'm kind of like I'm just not into her story as much this particular season. And yeah, it sucked that they killed off her mom in those first few episodes, but then to just jump ship the way she does, and it's just kind of like just repeating the same storylines with her. And so that's kind of where I was like, I would have liked something different with her.
It is, and it's just like, I don't know. I just got so tired of her. I've been tired of her character for like about 3 seasons now. Like, it's just so, it's too much, because they even did that with Robbie too, right? Because he was going through everything with Johnny, not really being in his life, and this and that. But like, they never leaned into it that much with Robbie, that it got to this point of being annoying, that he was always like, oh my god, like my dad hates me, and like everyone hates me, and blah blah blah. And I think even Robbie's had it worse, because he's always losing. Like, no one even cared about him that time that he ran away. Like, no one was even looking for him. Like, and so no, this kid has gone through a lot of it, and we've actually seen it. Whereas with Tori, we never saw it. We saw how Robbie's mom left him alone at their apartment. She didn't even leave any food for him. He didn't even know what he was gonna eat. So I think that's what makes you a little bit more sympathetic to him. Whereas with Tori, we never saw her go through anything with her mom. Everything was kind of off screen. So I just don't feel that connection with her. So every time she talks about it, I'm just like,
that's a fair point.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't care, dude. Like, I didn't see it. Like, I'm sorry, but they should have shown us what she's going through too. I think we got like one scene where she's at home, and like her
not
mom,
a lot,
or
that's for
not
sure.
a lot, yeah. And we just don't connect with her that way as we did with Robbie. And like, Robbie never really was like, no, like, I'm gonna give up and blah blah. Like, he was never this annoying, and Tori is. And I'm just like, I'm over it. I don't like her character.
All right, Derico, we texted earlier and you said you have a lot to say. I'm curious, because we have not, I don't know what you're going to say about this.
Yeah. So this was, like Bob said, I think it was one of the weaker seasons. Now, is it still good? Yes.
Told you, Josh.
Yeah. I thought it was still good.
Yeah.
But I have more criticisms about this season probably than any other.
You've been hanging around Bobby way too much. This is what happens as you start to
This is it.
talk, and you start to look at movies a different way now, and he basically ruins movies for you. Yeah, it's true.
Shut up.
It's true. You shut up, okay? I give up. Okay, go ahead. What you have to say.
So, okay. The cheese was laid on thick, yes. Now that's kind of the joy of Cobra Kai as well. You expect that, but it can be laid on a little too strong, and it was definitely that in this season. Now some of that, of course, it is welcome, but then, Lily, to your point, yes, you like a lot of cheese, and that's perfect. That's great. For me, it was a little bit too late on this time. I definitely can appreciate what Bob said about how the fighting looked pretty cool. But there were points in this where I'm like, wait, what tournament acts like that? Like, there's 8 people out there just fighting because they should? What how does this work? And that kind of threw me off. Because I've never seen a tournament act like that before. I love how at the end it was just a battle royal. Like,
yeah, that was fun.
Let's just we're gonna have 20 minutes of everybody just fighting. That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, Derek, real quick, on that battle royal,
Yeah.
I forgot to mention this earlier that I love how they throw that dojo out because they were taking performance enhancers, and then just out of the blue they show up. I mean, don't they have security around, to keep them from coming back in.
No, we're in the Cobra Kai universe.
You have to.
It's as badly as run as the school is.
In the words of my dad, you can't trust the commie. That's what the problem is. So I understand why they did the plane thing, because they needed to get Johnny and Miguel back on the same page, because there had been a rift in the relationship. So I understand that, but I do see your point. It's just like if you're Johnny and then mom walks in, oh, hey, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Then Johnny should have been like, then why the hell are we here? Like, if you're fine, then damn it, let's go, come on. Then they fly back, and then Kenny Payne has to sit and look at him like, wait, did I just fly all the way here for nothing?
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. So that was a little of a throw me off moment. I do like Kreese a lot. I think he's a very interesting villain. But now that we have two villains that are fighting each other, that kind of throws a wrench in things for me. Because now it's like, which one's worse? And you want to believe that it's Terry Silver, but
Love
still,
Terry Silver.
yeah, but still, Kreese is still I'm sorry, I'm going to use the word. Kreese is still a dick. Like,
he will always be one. He will always be.
He always will be.
He can't be good. He cannot turn face.
He even caused trouble when he didn't need to. He dropped his blade and the kid killed himself with it.
Yeah.
Really? So there's that. I do think, I thought the dog cage thing was a little Kreese scheduling a kidnap of Danny, I thought was a little bit much.
Shouldn't he be in jail?
Well, and so if that's the case, and the Asian boss lady didn't know about that, shouldn't her first reaction have been, "Hey, dude, you and I have a real problem now"? Because that's not.
Turned out it was Terry Silver though who ended up.
Yeah, Terry Silver.
Yeah.
Not Kreese.
No, I know, but you thought it was Kreese. You just did.
Yeah.
So there's that.
It doesn't matter. The point is, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was really bad. They wasted so much time with him, in the taxi looking for this place, and I was like, okay, are we ever gonna get to the point? And then all of a sudden he gets kidnapped.
Yeah, exactly. So and then that was a little, whatever with that. I do. There are a couple of characters who are starting to get on my nerves. I see your point about Tori. Tori needs a Johnny Lawrence. That's who should have gotten and started talking to Tori. At some point, it's just like, dude, shut up. Okay, you either fight or you don't. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Well, Johnny was kind of telling her, right? But Daniel was the one that stopped her when they were picking the captains when she was throwing her little fit. And then, I keep forgetting Daniel's wife's name, but she also stepped
Amanda.
in, right?
Yeah.
She also stepped in, and they were like, she just lost her mom. You need to not talk to her like that. But no, sometimes you need tough love, and I feel like Johnny was trying to do just that, and everyone was like, no, coddle her.
Well, that's why you need to get Johnny back, just to be like, okay, enough. I get it. It sucks, but what do you want to do here?
But that's part of the beauty of the show is the fact that you've got the two different philosophies, because there's not one that's right.
No,
every situation is different, and there are times that they need a Daniel, and there are times they need a Johnny Lawrence. And in this case, you're right. Tori needed a Johnny Lawrence at that moment.
Yeah, exactly. And there's times when you need both. There's times when you need both approaches to life. Sam is kind of starting to get on my nerves a little bit.
Since season 2.
Yeah, I was on the beach, and then I found a man, and he got the wrong idea.
Yeah.
I wonder why he thought that.
Yeah, can't imagine as to why. But hi, my name's Sam. What do you think he was?
She tells Miguel, he must have gotten the wrong impression. Oh, gee, you think?
Yeah. Can't imagine as to why, Sam.
Do you like Axel? You guys like Axel?
Well, she didn't annoy me until this this.
No, Axel, the guy,
the brute dude.
It is Axel, right?
It's
I don't remember his name.
He looks like an Axel.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, he was fine. The whole, what were their name? The Iron Dragons, was that
Yeah.
them?
Yeah.
It was cool. I mean, I love the actor who plays Terry Silver. I've got to get his name down. But
Thomas
he's
Ian
Thomas Ian Griffin.
thank you.
So
Thank you.
good. He's the best.
He is very, very good. Still is
Oh,
very good.
He's scary.
He is.
He's
He's
my favorite.
very. He gets to a point where like like there is a charm to him, but it's very deadly. You
Oh,
can't
big
trust an ounce of it.
Oh, big time.
And so I thought overall, yes, it was good. I did think that cliffhanger at the end was, I wasn't expecting that. that I definitely was. I had a moment where I looked at the screen like, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you just hear cut the feed, and that's it. Done.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So that was a very well done way to leave everybody wondering what's going to happen next. So yes, I think there were a lot of critiques that I had. Of course, it was still good, but yeah, there was some work that could have been done. I thought. What did you think, Josh?
Now real quick, Josh, before you say that, because you mentioned about the male champ for the Iron Dragons, I thought that female champ was pretty cool.
Oh, she was good too.
She was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, because one moment she's sitting there, hi, on the phone, trying to get all the likes and everything. But then when she was on the mat, but she could move. And I saw some of like her behind the scenes videos. She's a pretty good martial artist.
Yeah, I saw it today actually.
I was impressed with her.
Yeah.
I have to speak on her because as a woman, I don't like her.
Oh.
Automatically do not like her. And it's not because she's like good or anything. That was the only time that I was like, yeah, get her, Tori. Teach her a lesson because she's like that's what she's supposed to be, right? You're not supposed to like her because she's essentially one of the antagonists this season because she's very cocky and she's very, they're really good at the martial arts and everything. But I hated her so much that I forgot that I didn't like Tori, and I was like, "Kick her ass, Tori."
Actually, can I make one more point, Josh? I'm sorry before we go. Speaking of characters and like things we don't like, I'm sorry, but I didn't like what they did to Chosen at the beginning, making him some drunk sourpuss just because he didn't.
Yes.
This is a guy that would have killed Danielson in round 2, and now he's broken. Like, are you kidding me with this? Thank God he got a girl at the end of it to make up for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was very disappointing, and because Chosen is one of my favorites, he needs to be looked at as a man who has found his path after being a lethal, intimidating killer.
And then, sorry, Josh, I promise we're gonna.
Yeah, we gotta.
But I have another question too, because none of us have brought it up so far.
Yes.
What do you guys think about the storyline that Mr. Miyagi killed somebody?
I'm not a fan of that.
I mean,
I don't like it either.
That's the one negative. And
I don't. Yeah, I don't like it either. So you know what? How about we segue into it and you tell us what you think about it, so you can finally tell us
everything quick. First of all, I'm a little bit different than you guys. I really love part 2. Okay, I still think season 2 is the weakest season for me. Part 2 gave me a little bit of everything. I am a diehard Terry Silver fan, Lily. I have his T-shirt that says "Here now, the real pain starts, Danny boy." So the fact that they actually created the scene from Karate Kid Part 3 when he's in the jacuzzi and they walk in,
oh my God,
and he has this thing Derek said about it, where he's like almost like quiet but dangerous. He pitches
a smile.
He's smooth.
He's real smooth.
Snake.
That's what it is.
Yeah, he is a snake.
Right. And so, okay, let's get to the Mr. Miyagi thing. Not a fan of the Mr. Miyagi thing. Really don't know why they would have to say, "Oh, it was the time." During that time, you could have killed somebody. If you go back to Karate Kid Part 2, however, at the beginning when he attacks Kreese. And Daniel says, "You could have killed him." And he goes, "What?" So maybe that's what they were trying to come in full circle. We really haven't.
That just wasn't a point for it. I don't think it's been needed at all.
No,
well, this is what we talked about before. When you do anything Miyagi, you can't it's going to be really hard to pay that off because he's gone.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just-
you can't really do
It's the
that.
way that they're introducing all of this. Like, okay, so Karate Kid is fresh in my mind because I just saw it with my family not too long ago again.
Yeah.
And look at the bond that Mr. Miyagi had with Daniel.
Right.
You don't think that bond would have grown over the years and he would have told him all of this? This
Yeah.
is what I think is bothering me
Probably.
the most, is that
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi kept this big secret from Daniel. Like, don't you think at one point he would have explained something like this and been like, listen, this is like a horrible thing that I did back then, but like this is a lesson that hopefully you never have to learn through me or whatever. And I don't like the fact that he kept all of that a secret and that all of a sudden Daniel's just now finding out about it. And Mr. Miyagi's not here to explain himself. So
I
I
agree.
don't like that they're assuming all of these things about him every single season. And that bothers me because the character's no longer here. And neither is
Right.
the actor. So neither of them have any say in anything. And I don't like any of that. Like they should have just left Mr. Miyagi out of this entire thing. And this should have been like its own thing without even touching that and like tarnishing what we know about Mr. Miyagi, because this bothers me. Because
So
I'm like, I don't as I'm like, I don't think so. Like they had a very strong bond, and you can see that even
now,
from part one. So I don't understand why Mr. Miyagi would have kept this a secret from him.
now, this is the deal. I agree with everything all of you guys are saying about this. I don't like the subject that they did this. Pat Morita is gone. We don't know what would have happened. However, what is the number one thing they are constantly saying about Miyagi-Do? John Kreese is saying it. Terry Silver is saying, do you guys know? What are they always saying about Miyagi?
I don't know.
They're always talking about how it's defense and
Yes.
how it,
Oh,
Exactly, defense. So say we play devil's advocate here. Say Miyagi did kill somebody, Lily, okay? And feels so terrible and guilty about it that when he was in the how do you call it? The Senkai Taikai? What's it called?
The Sekai Taikai.
Taikai, that when he was in it, it was all offense, right? You were
no. I'm gonna stop you right there. Karate Kid Part 2, where they're in the in Miyagi dojo.
Yeah.
Rule number 1: karate for defense only. Rule number 2: first learn rule number 1.
Right, but how do we know
Because he
didn't
had the
change his mind,
rules
though?
to Miyagi's karate in the dojo. His father had that, so Miyagi was already taught
Oh.
that it was defense only.
Then they
Yeah.
they threw it in there. Then they just threw it in there. They shouldn't have,
Yeah,
and they
that's why I
probably
don't like
shouldn't have.
it.
Because they
Turn-
were grasping for stories, Josh. That's my point with this season. It's not that it's not that it's not enjoyable. It's still an enjoyable season.
But see, it's because this has been ongoing though. Like, remember Daniel found all of this stuff since season 1, didn't he? Like, he found that like hidden compartment when they were trying to make the that space for who was it for
Robbie.
Robbie.
Oh,
So
no,
that's
you're
when
right.
yeah.
For
So
Robbie.
and to be honest, this hasn't been such a huge plot that they could take it out of every single season and it wouldn't change anything.
No,
They could have
wouldn't.
actually spent time on other plots that they're just like throwing in there out of nowhere. Because
You know,
I don't like what they're doing with Mr. Miyagi, like at all.
Did you like
one of the
CGI?
beauties? Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Did you just like the CGI, Lily?
Oh yeah, I don't like the CGI either. That
I
was
liked it.
really
It's
weird.
still better than the Acolyte.
Wasn't? I thought it was.
Yeah, it still looked really weird. It's giving me like, it's giving me Moff Tarkin from freaking Rogue One.
Yeah, I
And,
liked it. I thought that was good. Okay, go ahead, Derek.
You know what I think they should have done? Sorry, Derek. What they should have done is not actually show his face. They should have just like made it even darker so that it would just be his shadow and you can't really see his face. We
There you
know
go.
Mr. Miyagi. We know his voice.
Okay with the face.
That probably would have been like even more it would have been something a little bit more emotional. You can't see his face because you hear his voice. You know what Mr. Miyagi looks like, but he's like shrouded in all this darkness because it's just a shadow and you're hearing his voice. I think that would have been a way more powerful shot because as soon as I saw the CGI, I was like, oh my gosh.
I didn't think it was that bad. Okay, Derek, go ahead.
I was just going to make the point that the beauty of Cobra Kai is the fact that they can go back to all three films, bring stuff from there to the current in order to kind of wrap things in a nice way.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of out of material to do that with those three films. The only place you really can go back is one of two places. You could either go back and try to get Hilary Swank to join this, which I don't think we're going to get very lucky.
I don't think it's happening.
No.
Or two.
No. Or two. Let's try Miyagi's past. Well, actually, no. You don't need to do that because what's done is done. But the other problem is, like, now we are grasping straws. We are trying to find things, which is why this is the perfect time to wrap this up. Because the minute you do that, that's it. It's ball game. So they're making the right call, making this it.
Yeah.
So what do you think happens now that the guy's dead? You think the whole tournament's canceled?
Probably.
It would make sense that they would, but
Bob's like, some kid died, whatever.
Yeah, it makes sense that they would.
To be fair, the kid grabbed the blade himself and landed on it. It wasn't like he was a rocket
This is
scientist.
Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai is cheesy. So, I can't help but think they're still gonna fight because they've set up that Miguel is going to fight the male champ for the Iron Dragons.
Oh yeah, they have set that up.
Yeah.
They set it up because he's jealous because of Sam. They laid the groundwork.
Oh my gosh, that is so dumb.
How about when they attacked that group attacked the head sensei, attacked the head of the Taikai out of nowhere, just kicked him in the
I'm telling you, that's why I said, what, there's no security? Then surely they were banned from the tournament. They just let them walk back in and then start a fight. Come on.
Yeah.
Bob, you like Commando, dude. There was
but that was an 80s movie.
Maybe they knocked out all the security guards.
That's true. Maybe they did.
They may have. There was a lot of fighting going on.
Yeah, it looked like they didn't care to attack the announcers.
See, Bobby, make fun of me about my origin story. See, you want all the little details yourself. See, you want to know what happened.
A little detail. That's a valid question. They barred him from the tournament. They kicked him out.
Yeah, they got back in. They attacked the security and they came back.
You could say they got back in. He just appears out of nowhere. It's like a puff of smoke. He just shows up and kicks him in the face.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's the name of the Asian the kid that ended up dying? What was his name?
Oh,
Quan.
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 It's kind of too bad because he was a great villain.
Yeah, he was
really good. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He had a very. What's great about a villain like that is he has such a punchable face, but he's also going to be like, F around and find out, dude. Try me. Mm-hmm. So it's a great concept. He played a great role.
I like that second part. I like the fighting. What's her name with Chosen? Oh my God, she's gorgeous, and her voice and everything.
Sensei Kim. I don't remember her first name, but it's Kim is her last name.
She's
Have we seen her in anything else? Because she reminds me of Lucy Liu so much.
Yes.
Let me look.
She does have that look to her, that's for sure.
She does have that look, yes. But I thought, we'll see what happens. We'll see how they end it all. Because you could tell, like, Kreese felt bad, Silver felt bad,
Daniel felt bad.
Yeah. Johnny felt bad, so I almost said Joey Lawrence. That's funny. But yeah, it's whoa. But yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed it. That fight at the end was just crazy, but I liked it. No, we'll see where it goes. I don't know. What's her name?
Okay, Lishi Hannah Kim, which is funny because her last name is Kim in the show. Yep. There's nothing I recognize her from here.
No, I haven't seen her.
Okay, she plays in I don't know if this is a movie or a show. We Love You, Sally. Something called Alone Together. This one called Heat Wave. Yet nothing that I recognize.
Where's she from, Bob? Australia, South Africa.
Yeah, born in Australia.
Australia.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
Well,
could be.
she's like super cool, so I hope that they cast her in more things after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's badass.
Yeah, she is. From like the season that they introduced her, I was like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. But yeah, I think that's why she reminds me a lot of Lucy Liu.
Zero time for nonsense.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, very good. We'll see what happens. Why don't we skip our next subject and
Nope.
just
No,
yeah,
stay
that's
right
the-
here. You sit right there.
Here we respect Lily. You know, fine. Go
Nope.
ahead.
Here we go. All right.
So I'm very upset right now, and I'm just going to tell you why I'm upset.
Hold on. I will tell you why you're upset. So
And make sure you include Thursday too, because I won.
Josh, are you going to let me do this?
No.
All right, I got this. Okay, so we actually did do the Thursday for Thanksgiving. We did the Thursday contest, and I do want to point out that Josh did beat Derek.
You bunch of losers!
So, Josh, I
Okay.
wasn't able to get screenshots of everything, but I did want to include your score. You finished in first place with 137.96. Just some highlights because we all had very similar lineups. I thought it was interesting that you went with both Bears receivers, and that really paid off for you. With Moore and Allen, both did really well, and then of course Dowdle. Overall, it was a good lineup. So I got to congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
But I do got to point out that also tied you with Derek for first place. So Derek and you each had 5 apiece at that, and I had 3. But something happened between Thursday and Sunday.
Yes, I remember.
So, Josh decided to follow up a good performance with I think it's the second lowest score we've had this season. So, Josh, you went with Baker Mayfield, and he got you 12.2 points. He did get an injury, but he only missed a couple of plays. The big thing for Tampa Bay was the running game. You went with Kamara 18.9. He did fine. James Conner 11.1. That was a down day. Zay Flowers 10.1, also a down day. Cooper Kupp had a really bad day, 4.7. Quentin Johnson also 3.2. Yeah, I Goddard I thought was a good play with 12.5 points. You went with Parkinson just to kind of be your money saver. He got 2.3. The Vikings defense at 5 points. Your total score was 80 points. Your final verdict.
Oh my god.
Gosh, that didn't go very well for you.
No.
But we're getting into our second place, and the bonehead play of the season has got to go to our second place finisher.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think with fly, think.
Oh my god.
I do not know what possessed you to play Justin Fields at quarterback when he's the backup quarterback.
Yeah,
it was just a money thing. You had Will Levis down there, Derek Carr down there, Bryce Young down there.
You still beat me. This is ridiculous.
Okay, that I'm going to point out in a minute. But just if you would just played any quarterback, you would have done better. So,
yeah, that's true.
But you did still beat Josh, and you played Justin Fields.
He destroyed me. He just didn't beat me. He destroyed me and didn't have a quarterback.
So you went with Bucky Irving at running back. He got you 30.5. Tony Pollard was a disappointment, 9.8. AJ Brown, I remember you texted me and said he was really pissing you off. He had 11.6 points. Nico Collins, 22.9. He did well. Noah Brown, 5.7. A lot of the receivers with Washington are hit or miss because of just the way they play. Hunter Henry, I thought that was a really good play, 14.5. Charbonnet was kind of interesting, 12.1. Texans defense at 3 points. Your final score was 110.8. Final verdict?
To be a moron, to be moronical, an imbecile. You was farting in bathtubs and laughing your ass off.
Great movie. Tropic Thunder. Oh my god.
That's when you cannot play anymore.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say
Yeah, I had to cut a part of that off. But
anyway. It's all right. It's fine.
So now we get to our champ for the week. So I went with Justin Herbert on the road against Atlanta in that dome. I was hoping for a much better performance because he had been consistent most of the year. Not this week, 7.98. But I also went with Irving. Where I got lucky, and this is what allowed me to beat you, I had Rachaad White. He only had 8.8 points, but he did break a 38-yard run in overtime, and that's what bumped me over you, Derek.
Yeah.
I also went with Cooper Kupp. He was a bad play. Ladd McConkey, he was really good for me, 23.7. Kendrick Bourne, I went with him instead of Booty this week. And so, it paid off a little bit better, 7.5 points. Taysom Hill, I got unlucky with because he did get hurt at 9.7. He's out for the rest of the year, unfortunately. Puka Nacua did catch a touchdown, which helped me out, 17.3 points out of him. The Texans defense, I went with 3 points. My final score was 113.18. Final verdict. I needed that win. I've been in second place for quite some time. And so the leaderboard, Derek and Josh, you are still tied at 5 apiece, and I'm right behind you with 4. It is still anybody's game from here on out.
Enjoy your sangria, bub.
Not believe you, Derek. So mad.
That was awesome. Lily,
at least you won one this week. I didn't win any.
We were teasing Josh from the moment it happened because Derek played a complete bonehead play and he still beat Josh.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, that's hilarious.
All right. Josh, you ready for the next topic?
No. I want to talk about this for a minute. I'm pissed off.
Well, you get over it. You'll probably be pissed off next week too.
That Derek had, and by the way, Bob, Derek told me he did not mean to run a wildcat. He admitted he screwed up. He had
I didn't say that he meant to run a wildcat. He just said that he thought he was going to get in there a little bit more.
He said that was not true at all. He said,
no, Josh, that's not what I said. I said I thought he might play.
I give up. Let's go to the next one.
So now let's go to the next one.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Oh,
so
that's it. That's my list. I'm just kidding.
That's everything, great, guys.
You're like, I'm done. I already got these.
It's been real.
So, in The Dark Knight, one of my all-time favorite movies, don't they say if you're a hero, you live long enough to become the villain? Well, tonight we are going to cover villains of Disney. Very memorable villains out there that we've grown up with. And we decided to compile a list, our top 5 favorite villains, as well as 2 honorable mentions. This should be very interesting, everyone. So let's get going. Why don't we go ahead and start with Derek? Give us number 7 for your honorable mention.
Okay. Before I do that, I need to give a bunch of shout outs.
Okay.
Before we get started with that.
Sure.
There's too many great ones to count here. You could easily slap on any of the. Remember how we talked about? There's basically like kind of almost 3 points of Disney that really put it on the rise. The first had to do with that series that included like Peter Pan, The Jungle Book, like Sword in the Stone, all of those.
Okay.
The second is the empire that was set up in the late 80s, early 90s. and then you have what you have today. If I had to give honorable mentions just from each of those periods, I think Madam Mim, I mentioned The Sword and the Stone, is tremendous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
I hate,
What?
I hate Sunshine.
I hate Sunshine. I hate it. I hate it. He sounds like such a temper tantrum child by the end of that. It's great. I think that Shere Khan is awesome simply because of how
Oh my
British
God,
he
yeah.
is for no reason at all. It's like, oh, is that what he is?
Ew.
He's great in terms of his voice, and it's a great character overall. I'm gonna give shout outs. There's one in particular I have on my list, but you could really give shout outs to every single one of the 90s Disney villains. Jafar, Scar, Gaston. I'm not gonna try to ruin anything for you here. And then you get into the Pixar years, and they've had some great villains too.
Oh, wow.
One of which is my number 7. My number 7 is Sid from Toy Story.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, that crazy kid.
Yes.
He's the worst. He's such a bad child.
What a little psycho.
Yeah. Like his poor mutant toys are the ones that save Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
Jeez, I feel awful for them.
Spikes, the baby with the spikes coming out of the head and no legs.
Awful. And
Great.
we threw a Toy Story party for my oldest when he was, how old was he? Was he about 4? And we got all these figures that we in essence split up. There were the mutant toys that were Sid's toys, and there were the happy toys that you wanted from all the Toy Story characters. So we gave him all the bad ones for his birthday, and on his birthday he got the good ones.
That's brilliant.
He got to play with a certain set, and then he got the ones he really wanted. So that's how we broke that up. But yeah, Sid's the worst. He's terrible. So
Okay.
that's my first honorable mention. Do I do 6?
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and do 6. Yeah, that's fine.
All right, I'll do 6 as well. My number 6 is on this level too, because I thought I could give some shout outs to the newer villains. My number 6 is Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a nerdy little punk who you just hate. But he does a very good job playing the villain. Who is that? Jay? What's his name? You guys know who I'm talking about, who does the voice of that guy. But great job done by him.
Oh, yeah. I'm blanking on it for some reason.
Mm-hmm. I am
What's
your
the
biggest
name in The Incredibles? What is it?
Syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same guy who's on My Name is Earl. Jay something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can't remember his name for the life of me right now.
Jason Lee.
Jason Lee.
There you go.
Yes.
Jason Lee.
He played Dave in Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yes, he did.
Alvin, Simon, Theodore.
He was a big Kevin Smith guy back in the day. He did like Mallrats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He did. You're right. And Dogma.
Which
Wasn't
one?
he in
You said
Dogma?
Mallrats, right?
Yeah, Mallrats, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike.
Chasing Amy. He was in
That's all I know him from. All that stuff.
all that stuff. Yeah. So he did great doing the voice for that. So that's my 7 and 6.
Okay, very cool. Bobo, go for it.
All right. Like Derek said, there are just so many you could talk about, but I'm going to go back to, for both of my honorable mentions, I'm going back to the early era of Disney movies for those. So my first one is Prince John. Oh,
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
He was great. He was greedy. He just wanted to collect all the taxes. Texas. But he was completely oblivious to everything that was going on around him. Like the scene where Robin Hood and Little John are going up to him and they're kissing the fingers and they're taking the jewels off of it.
Very big honorable mention. Wow.
And the little snake is sitting there like, and they're still in it.
The stupid snake was great too.
And then he ends up like in his long johns, as they're running off with all the clothes and everything. So, but at one point when he goes to suck his thumb, he's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Oh, I got a dirty thumb." He's got all his mud on it. So, Prince John, my number 7.
Good one.
And then my number 6, Cruella de Vil.
Oh, very good.
Cruella.
So, I mean, how could you not like Cruella? First off, she's got her own theme song.
Her.
Cruella de Vil. And then he's like, what's it called? The husband. I can't remember the character's name. He's sitting there playing the piano and the trumpet and everything, and while she walks in. And she's like, Anita, darling. She's great, but I love some of her lines. Like at one point when she tries to buy the puppies and they won't let her, and she's like, fine, keep the little beasts for all I care. Do what you want with them. Drown them. I'm like, or later with Horace and Jasper. Or like, oh, what do we do with them? Poison them, drown them, catch them in the head. So she's real eccentric. She only cares about her furs. She wants the dog simply because she likes the spotted fur that they have, and she wants to make coats out of them. I mean, she's a crazy character. Like I said, she's got her own theme song. Cruella de Vil. I used to love 101 Dalmatians. She was a good villain, so she's my number 6.
Nice. All right, Miss Lily, let's hear it.
Okay, so when Bob told me that we were going to be doing this, instantly I decided to approach this with a lot of the villains that probably scared me the most as a kid growing up. So you're going to recognize most of them are actually from the 90s. From the Disney Renaissance, if you will. Some of them are from a little bit older. I think I have 1, maybe 2. But my honorable mentions, I decided to go the complete opposite. Villains that I absolutely love, but they're a little bit too funny to have scared me. So my honorable mention number 1 is Yzma from the Emperor's New Groove.
Very good. No, she was very good.
I freaking love her. She thought she was so scary. She thought she was so smart and clever and trying to kill Cusco, but nothing went right for her, and it was mostly because of Kronk. So I absolutely love her character, but they just made her so funny that I just can't be scared of her as a villain, especially the part where where she's threatening to kill them and she pulls up her dress. She's like,
and they're like, oh, and then they see the knife. They see the knife and they're like, oh, woo.
Yeah, they're like, oh.
I like the scene where she's talking to the guy at the beginning, and she's like, it's not really my problem if you don't have, what was it again? And he's like, food? Yeah, you really should have thought about that before you became peasants.
Yes. That's why I love Yzma, because she's one of the villains that's just so wrong with everything. But I love those scenes. So the knife scene stayed with me since childhood, and so did the other scene too, where I think it's Cusco that's staring at her, and he's like, "What is holding this woman together?" Because she's so old. I love her.
Kronk's like her boy toy.
Yes, and Kronk, I guess by extension, Kronk is also another honorable mention because he's also her henchman, and of course he does his own theme music, and he's always screwing everything up for her. But yeah, Yzma, one of my top favorites because she's so funny, especially when she turns herself into a little cat and she still thinks that she's still vicious. And then of course the voice actress too, she is awesome. So I freaking love Yzma. She's one of my favorites. Okay. And then staying with that kind of same thing, also my other favorite Disney villain who's super super funny, Hades from Hercules.
Yeah,
I love Hades too, but he's just a little too funny for me to actually be scared of him. If they hadn't made him funny, I think he would have been a really scary villain also. But James Woods, like absolutely brilliant. I can't picture anyone else as Hades. He's just perfect. Like especially the part where he like absolutely loses it, and then he's like, "Whoa, I lost my cool there." And like his hair goes from being blue to like all red, and then he comes back down. Like it's just perfect. And then his little henchmen too are just they just add to all this chaos. And I love the entire storyline with Hades and like Hercules and everything that's happening. Like he's so funny, and I don't like it's hilarious. That's one of my favorites. I know a lot of for some reason a lot of people that I know don't really like the Hercules movie, but that was one of my actual favorites. Like
That's
the music
fun.
is great, the story's great. I love the villain. I love the hero. Like everybody's so cool. But yeah, I had to give it there to Hades.
What was that line that he said where like somebody was asking, "Are people going to die?" Well, I mean, probably not all that many. I mean, it's war, but you know, it should be fine.
Yeah, so I think that's why I like both of them because Yzma and Hades are kind of like the same. Like they know they're doing like really bad things, but they're like, whatever. Like you should have thought of that before you became a peasant. And
they're like
all this
annoyed
other
with
stuff.
everything too, which is what makes it
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I decided to go opposite directions with my list. So my honorable mentions are the more comedic relief kind of villains, but my actual lists are the ones that scared me as a kid.
Okay. Very cool. All right. So my honorable mentions. So it's funny. My number 7 is Maleficent. Now, it's funny because I've seen Sleeping Beauty. It's been a very long time, but I just know Maleficent is this. I was talking to my daughter about it earlier, and she said, "Oh yeah, she's very, dangerous, and she's got that look, and she can do the magic and all that." So I felt like I had to put Maleficent on the list. It's funny. Last night when I was just running it through my head, Derek, I had thought about Sid from Toy Story. And I
Yeah.
think it just went in one ear and out the end, and I had forgotten about it when I was making my list. And then my number 6 was Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. Really thought he was a
Gaston.
cool villain, almost kind of a comedic villain at times with him and his partner. What was the partner's name, Lily? Do you know? LeFaux. But he became a menace where if he went after the Beast and even started to really go after Belle and ended up stabbing the Beast and ended up getting killed by the Beast. So I just thought, you had this muscular character who was cocky and confident and said, the Beast is the one who's terrorizing everything and I'm going to go take him out. And, I was able to injure him and almost kill him. What's so funny?
I was just you mentioned how he's like comedic at times. I was thinking in the opening song where he's like, "For in town it is only she who's as beautiful as me."
Yeah. When I was a lad, I had a dozen eggs. Now I eat 24 eggs. So, yeah,
he had a good song. That was a good villain song.
That was a good song.
It was very good. So yeah, these are my 2. All right, so let's go for number 5. Lily, go ahead. Give us number 5.
All right. My number 5. So I actually have as my number 5 the evil stepmother from Cinderella.
Oh God,
I almost put her on my list. Almost did.
I do not like her.
Oh my God. Like the first thought that I had when you mentioned villains, I was like, the evil stepmother. Like she doesn't, I guess I put her number 5 because she is really scary, but she doesn't actively, I guess, try to kill Cinderella. So that's why she's kind of lower on my list. But she's an awful human being. Yeah. All of the horrible treatment that she puts this like person through that Cinderella absolutely does not deserve. And she goes out of her way just to be so evil to her. And that kind of stuck with me when I was little because I was like, oh my gosh, I am so thankful that I have like my mom and my dad, and then I didn't end up with like an evil stepmom because that's terrible. And then not just her, but like her daughters that go out of their way to torture
Oh,
Cinderella
God.
too.
Horrible.
So that's why I put her at number 5. Even her cat is evil.
Yeah.
Everything about this woman is just evil. Like her stupid
Zero to like.
yes, like she's
Yep.
just an awful person. Like I dislike her so much, and every single time that I watch that movie and the cartoon, like she just gives me like this feeling that I'm like, oh, I want all of these horrible things to happen to this woman because she's so evil to poor Cinderella. But yeah, I'm glad that she does not get her way in the end, and that Cinderella gets her happy ending because this woman deserves to be miserable. So that's my number 5.
100%.
All right, very cool. Mr. Jericho, break the walls down. Let's hear it.
Okay, let's go old school for number 5. My number 5 is Captain Hook.
Very
Aw.
good.
Yeah.
I like that one. I like
He's
it.
a good one.
Yeah, that's he's timeless, man. Come on.
Oh, it's your pen.
Yeah. He's not only great, like the way he reacts to that crocodile song gets me
Oh my
still.
gosh, no.
Like I still laugh at it. I can't help it. I even liked when Dustin Hoffman played him.
I was going to ask which
Yeah.
one, like
Yeah.
the animated or the live action Hook.
Both work for me.
Dustin Hoffman did a great job with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dustin
Mr.
Hoffman was
Chairman
awesome
of the
with Hook.
board. Yeah, no, he did a great job. You know what? I was thinking, I'm like, wait, when I first heard that, I'm like, they casted Dustin Hoffman as Hook. Then I watched it, and you're like, oh no, I get it.
Oh, and then
Yeah.
Robin Williams. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that is such a good movie. Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
So-
That whole movie is casted brilliantly. Actually,
Mhm.
he did a great job. There's not. I mean, he's stood the test of time, man. It's Captain Hook. Everybody knows who Captain Hook
And
is.
versus the alligator.
It was at the
That
alligator.
alligator.
Crocodile.
Or
That's crocodile.
Crocodile.
I think that's probably
Longer
that's my
nose.
favorite part of that whole thing is like his constant battle with the crocodile.
And I love it because the crocodile gets so excited every time he sees him. Like
Yeah.
he's ready.
At the Disneyland ride, I think it works this way in Disney World too. But when you're on the Peter Pan ride, there's this where the crocodile Hook's standing on the crocodile's mouth.
Oh,
trying
yes,
to avoid it.
going like with
Yeah.
his legs. Yeah,
Mhm.
It's great.
very good.
Never gets it.
All right, Mr. Babo, who is your number 5?
All right, this one I'm going old school for this one too. But I gotta say that he's kind of a borderline villain, because he's not the main villain, and I
Okay.
say borderline because you could say he's kind of a good guy, but at the same time he did kidnap Mowgli, and that is King Louie. At
Oh,
number 5.
King Louie.
Yeah, that works.
So his whole he's got a very small role. He wasn't even in the books, from my understanding. He was invented just for the Jungle Book cartoon, and his whole point is he kidnaps Mowgli because he wants to learn the secret of fire, so he can be more human or whatnot. But he kidnapped Mowgli to get him, and I love it because he's like singing the whole time, you know. And it's just a fun sequence where he's singing, you know, I want to be like you.
Yeah.
And you got all the other apes around going, "Abby doobie," you know, and then all of a
Yes.
sudden,
Oh, yeah.
and you got Baloo and Bagheera there. They're trying to save him, and the song is just so cool that Baloo starts going.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he's dressed up as an ape just so he can sing with Louie. It's a great sequence. So again, he's a borderline villain, but I can't help but like King Louie, so I've got him at my number 5.
That's a good one.
All right, very good. So my number 5 is very interesting because it's already been said on this podcast. Lily, evil stepmother from Cinderella.
Oh, wow.
My number 5.
Worst.
Yep.
Because she is the
Horrible
worst.
You want to yell at the TV when she's on there, the way she treats Cinderella.
I want
Poor
video of
Cinderella.
Josh. I want video of Josh yelling at the television. When
Oh
she's
yeah, just yelling at the TV saying, "You don't treat Cinderella that way."
No, and then
I
just
mean,
the way that she
evil.
looks so smug all the time
Oh,
because she
yeah.
knows
Ooh,
she's being evil and she
ooh.
likes it.
Holds her
Just
nose up.
such
Yes.
abuse. Like, just ugh.
Oh, just not a nice person. And like you said, Lily, her daughters, excuse me, are just horrible human beings as well. And
Mhm.
I
even
love the
like
scene where they're trying on the slipper, and
yes,
they put the slipper on, and she's like, "You see, it fits perfect." And then they pull the foot up, and the slipper's like only
yeah,
covering part of the foot. I
yes.
mean, they got feet that are this big.
And then Prince Charming is having nothing to do with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
No,
then even in the live action one too, she was even scary in that one also. And it's like a really great actress also that when I saw the casting too, I was like, there's no way she's gonna be able to pull that off. Like the evil stepmom, Kate Blanchett.
oh, okay.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
He's too nice.
And I thought that she wouldn't be able to pull it off, but by the end of it, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like she plays Galadriel, and I love her so much. But in this, I hate her so much. Like
You
I'm
make
so
that Cobra Kai sensei, that woman, you put her as the stepmom. That
Oh,
she could do some abuse.
why do I think that would be epic?
It would be so good.
Do you know what the evil stepmother's name is?
Lady.
It's like,
Lady
I just looked it up.
Tremaine or
or
something like
or
that.
something
Yeah,
like
Lady
that.
Lady
Tremaine.
Tremaine. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, I was
Tremaine.
right. How about that?
Yeah, you were right.
Yeah,
Very
Lady
good.
Tremaine.
So yeah. So Lily and I are on the same page. Evil Stepmother is my number 5, made my top 5 list. All right.
Yeah, she's
Let's
horrible.
go to number 4. Bobo, let me hear your number 4.
Shut up!
That's my number 4 right there.
The parrot?
Iago.
The Iago. Again, he's not the main villain, but that is a villainous bird. He is fantastic.
You're really
Like,
joking, right? That was
No,
just a
he's
joke.
my number 4.
Oh my
He-
gosh.
You made the top 4.
Yes, look,
Bob is
okay, first
giving
off-
all the secondary villains a chance.
Okay, first off, Gilbert Gottfried as the voice for Iago.
Yes.
He is a blast
brilliant.
with that character.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
he is.
Yes, he is absolutely brilliant in that role, and the stuff that they do with Iago, like I just love the stuff that comes out of his mouth. Like at one point when he's telling Jafar that he should marry Jasmine and become the Sultan. And he's like, "Oh yes, the Sultan," and he's sitting in the chair, and then all of a sudden Iago's like, "And then we take Papa-in-law and the little woman and we throw them off a cliff." And then he jumps down. He's like, "Wah! Splat!" Or like when he's getting ready to go steal the lamp from Aladdin, he's dressed up as a flamingo. And
Oh my
And then the
god.
yeah,
other
that one flamingo's looking at him. He's like, "You got a problem?" And he
It's funny.
And
People would be like, "The parrot, really, Bob?" But the way Bob
Yeah.
imitates him, you're like, "Oh
and
yeah."
then
It's
to get
'cause-
back
it's
at the
'cause
Sultan for giving him all those crackers, he's sitting there.
Yes.
Lots of crackers.
It's because to be fair, I will defend Bob on this one. Okay, well, like spoiler alert for my
No.
list. I did not put Jafar on this list
Oh.
because I think the parrot actually outshined Jafar in this
does.
I
movie.
did.
So when I was thinking about this, I was like, yeah, Jafar is a really good villain, but was he really without Iago? Because the fact that we saw the live action and there was no Iago, and this could also be the actor that they chose too, I felt like Jafar was just kind of boring. He
Yeah.
needed Iago there.
Yeah,
So
Iago-
he didn't make my list. Like Jafar did not make my list.
Like,
Okay.
I know Iago ends up becoming a good guy in the second film and whatnot, but in that first film, which is the one really everybody thinks of, he is fantastic. He is a villain, and
Villainous
again, he's not the
bird.
main villain, but he is fantastic. He is my number 4.
Okay.
Damn shame what they did to that bird in the live one.
I
Yeah.
still can't believe they did that.
Yeah, that's a damn
Um,
shame.
All right, Miss Lily, number 4. What do you think?
Okay, so my number 4 my number 4 is actually Ursula.
Okay,
So
excellent.
choice, good
I picked her because The Little Mermaid is probably my top favorite Disney movie and Disney princess. But Ursula is not my top villain because I think there's some that are even scarier than her, in my opinion. But Ursula made number 4 because this is where we start to get to the point where the villains are trying to like kill everyone. And
Yeah.
Ursula isn't just trying to replace Ariel, like she literally tries to kill her in the end. So the way that she goes about everything and that she's very manipulative and she's trying to like, talk to Ariel and be like, listen, I will make you a deal. I know like you're in love with the prince and this is how you're gonna meet him. But like just sign my contract and give up your voice to me. And then she goes after the prince herself. And I was like, oh no, she did not. Oh my gosh. And then she's just great. She's got another great villain song that she sings. It's probably one of my favorite villain songs. They made her look yes,
Yes, that's
Mhm.
great.
yes.
That's a timeless song.
They made her look super cool. I love her layer. I love that she's like a sea witch and she's got like her little henchman eels with her too. And the ending was just so freaking scary for me when I was little when she like blew up to this giant like version of herself.
Mhm.
And she was terrifying to me in that moment. And I think that's why I never went like swimming or anything because I always thought that I was gonna get kidnapped by Ursula. So she did definitely stay with me.
Carved by the ocean.
Yes, I am. But yeah, I think that there's like scarier villains on my list. But she definitely was up there because she did her thing. But I feel like she didn't. This sounds so weird, but she didn't like torture poor Ariel enough. So I guess it's kind of a good thing or a bad thing, I guess, in the context of this list because she's my number 4.
Okay, fair enough. Mr. Derrico, what is your number 4?
What Lily said.
Ursula, really?
Yeah.
Was your 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was my number 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Any reason behind it?
Okay, remember how I said Captain Hook is timeless?
Yeah.
She's now reached that level.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's when people think of Disney villains, they can automatically go to her.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like
And the voice.
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember watching an interview with the woman who played that voice. I cannot remember her name, but she made it a point to talk about how playing a villain is the best. It's heaven.
Yeah.
And you could tell that she fully embraced it. She didn't pull any punches. She wasn't like, "Oh, I'm not sure if I should, play this villainous character." She went right in for it and she killed it. So good on her.
Mhm. Yes.
It's true. Playing a villain is a lot more fun.
It's
Yeah.
always more fun to play the bad guy. Always.
Yes.
Yep.
That that voice though, that like
yeah.
deep,
The raspy
powerful,
voice.
like
Yeah, so she had you were like, dude, did you smoke like 2 packs of Marlboros? Like, what are
I was
you
about to say that yeah, she's got like that smoker's voice.
Yes, that's the best one. Did you ever see the comedy with Robin Williams? And this was years ago, and he said, "Yeah, you go to Disneyland and you catch Snow White hiding behind the bush smoking a cigarette. It's like, hello, darling, welcome to Disneyland."
oh my god.
Still a better
give me
show
one
than
break.
Rachel Zegler. So
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh God.
Oh
Oh,
gosh.
there we go. Bob had to
She's
bring
my
it
number
down.
1 villain. Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. All right, very interesting. All right, my number 4. So the guys and I, Lily, were talking about this last night about what constitutes a villain for Disney. And one of them, and I hope I got this right, Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
That's legit.
definitely.
Mhm.
The way the CGI and the way they did it, and when he's playing, it's not the piano, right? What is it called? It's an accordion.
the organ.
The organ.
Yeah, the organ.
And he's just so devious and dark. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it stuck with me. And even on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, they used to have a hologram of him, and he was a tough cookie. and just very dangerous and dark. And you hear about Davy Jones, and he's got the one leg, and I thought he did a great job in the movie. A great job.
Death. That's
Yeah.
a great line.
And you know what?
Oh.
He also has a really tragic backstory, so I think that's what makes him cool too.
Yeah,
When you
that
figure
is
out
true.
like why he's the way that he is.
I need to
I
watch
just
that.
remember he couldn't go on land, and so you got Johnny Depp walking around. I got a job to.
That is true.
And once when he got on land, he had to step in that bucket.
Yes, it was
Yeah, he did.
the
He had
other
to
one.
stay. He couldn't hit dry land. He was
No.
only
Yeah.
allowed what was it? Once every 10 years.
Once every 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. But it was an excellent, I mean, that's who I thought. And it's funny when I asked you guys, are we doing Marvel? Are we doing Star Wars? Because and you're like, no, let's keep it to Disney.
Yeah,
creative
Disney
products. I'm like, okay, that's fine. All right. So let's see. Number 3. Lily, who's your number 3? Number 3.
My number 3 villain is
Your
Scar.
number 3rd. Which one?
Scar.
Oh yeah, that's
very
legit.
good. I thought somebody would have him on.
I
their
have
top.
Scar because again, I think my criteria includes a really cool villain song. And Scar
okay.
also has one.
There's another one.
I basically just like him too because I'm gonna ignore everything that they're doing with the new Mufasa movie because it's not gonna be canon for me. I like the original animated movie and the fact that Mufasa and Scar are actually brothers because I cannot fathom how Scar is trying to kill his own brother to take away the kingdom so that he can be the king. And yeah, I think that just stayed with me too when I was a little kid because I was like, oh my gosh, like I guess he could kind of tiptoe the line between like him being a funny villain because he says some lines in there that do make you chuckle, like whenever he's like with the hyenas and he's like, oh, I'm surrounded by idiots, and like there's moments like that make you laugh. But when it comes down to it, he's scary. Like he's trying to kill his own brother. Like I don't know how
his own brother.
Yeah, like he did kill his own brother. Like how
Yeah.
much more scarier can you even make it? And the fact that he's also trying to kill his nephew, like he's just a big old savage. Like I know they added the hyenas for like comedic effect, but Scar by himself is just really scary. And I like the fact that he just he doesn't really do a lot until the end because he's just kind of like laying around like, oh my god, like I hate being here, I hate all of these people, I just have to play along with everybody even though I hate my brother. And then at the end he just goes full on savage and starts like battling Simba and everyone, and everything goes crazy, everything's on fire. So yeah, he's my number 3 villain because he's crazy. Like he's trying to kill his own family.
Okay, very cool. Derico, let's go with you.
All right. Well, we now get into the part of my list where none of these folks are, oh God, just bad all around. But I will revisit when I express to you folks who my favorite, what my favorite Disney movie was. So number 3 is Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
He starts off as this dark, brooding. He doesn't. I mean, what he says, you listen to, you're captivated, but he doesn't scream. He doesn't yell. He's just very quiet. And it turns out he is this psychotic menace cartoon by the end of it.
Yeah.
And I like to this day, the image of him when he finally turns into what he really is with those red eyes and that blonde hair. Yeah.
Oh, he's so scary.
Yeah,
That's a lot of childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And the fact that like, what a
Don't
jerk.
daggers actually come out of his eyes at one point?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
they do.
No, it's for being young. When did that come out? What year?
89 or 88. 88. I
Oh,
think
we
it
were
was
like
88.
7 or 8 years old. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Gosh,
God.
stop dating us.
Stop. It's enough.
Sorry.
Well, and then the
And
fact
it's a
that he
birthday celebration for me in a couple weeks, so I'm dating us.
the fact that he also makes this stuff that kills cartoons, like what a piece of garbage! Like,
Yeah.
you're trying to ruin children's fun. Like, clearly he has no joy whatsoever until he becomes the menace, and then he just wants to kill everybody with Dit. So he's just a great villain. It's a great movie. If you have as great of a movie as that, their villain better be great too, and he is. So that's my number 3.
Derek, this is totally random. Is that a scary mask behind your shoulder there? Other one.
That one there?
No, the other side. Towards the garage door?
Yeah, no, that.
Yeah, what
just
is that?
It's like a sun thing that you put out on the patio. It's not.
Oh, doesn't it look like a mask?
Yes,
Oh.
Josh, it's a mask that I perform my tribal sacrifices. You know, when I'm talking to you guys. That's how I finish off my evening.
Okay, good.
Jesus.
All right, whose turn? Bobo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, which secondary or tertiary character are you?
Well, be prepared because my number 3 was Scar.
Oh my gosh! I've already gotten like 5-4
really,
entry
since
with
you
all
already
of you.
talked about Scar, there's not really a whole lot more that I can say about this character. So I'm just going to talk about another honorable mention, somebody who didn't make my list. Madame Medusa from The Rescuers.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so she was trying to get a diamond, and she kidnaps a little girl in order to send her down this into this little mine or well in order to dig this diamond out, and she's got to get it out before she gets flooded out, whatnot. But just she's got these 2 pet crocodiles, and she's got that our sidekick Snoops, who's like he almost looks like a pervert or something. I mean, he does. I mean, if you go and watch it, yeah. I mean, but she's like real creepy because she's telling Snoops that he's got to send or he's got to send Penny down the well and keep her down there longer. And he's like, well, she won't listen to me. And he's like, well, you got to make her listen to you. And she's sitting there hugging her Crocs. She's like, you turn around and you show them you love them, and I mean, she's a real creepy lady. The fact that she would kidnap a kid in order to do this. So I just wanted to throw her out there because she was one that I liked as a kid. And because Lily already very well talked about Scar, he was my number 3. So.
Okay.
Very good.
My number 3, we've somewhat talked about Jafar from Aladdin. I know you guys are the parrots. I mean, think about how vicious he was. He wanted Aladdin dead. He threw him in the river, chained up. I mean, he was just so dark and devious. And then when he turned when he had the power of the genie, and he, turned into that huge genie and attacked everyone. And I just thought he was an awesome villain. Now, Aladdin's one of my all-time favorite movies, as you all know. So I had to put in Jafar. I thought he just did a great job, and with the parrot, and just their chemistry was fantastic. And he's such a great villain, and the way he was able to basically manipulate Jasmine's dad, the Sultan,
with the
certain
wand.
Yeah, for so long, and to try to make things happen his way. So really, to me, he deserved to be in my top 3.
Built off pure greed.
So there we go. All right, our top 2. This is big. Bobo, let's go with you. I have no idea where you're going.
Yeah, that way nobody can take it.
Yeah, I know, right?
For my number 2, it was already mentioned, and that was Gaston.
Oh,
he is
wow.
my number 2.
Hey.
He's a fun character. Lily, you already talked a lot about Gaston. Just some of the stuff to add. He is so sarcastic and so he's so confident in himself, but but he overdoes his confidence, he's very self-absorbed, self-centered, like that little guy LeFou, he's like, "Gee, Gaston, you're the greatest hunter in the world." I know, Yeah, so it just his mannerisms. He goes to see Belle. She's like, "Boy, isn't this a surprise? Isn't it though?" And I love it because as he's talking to Belle, he pops his feet up on the table and whatnot. And he's like, "You don't need to be reading. You need to start a family, and take and be into more interesting things like me, And he's like, "Can't you just picture it, Belle? The dogs are running around and the little ones are on the floor. Well, my little wife is massaging my feet." And then he's like, "We'll have 6 or 7." He's like, "What, dogs? No, strappy boys like me."
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, he can get pretty sadistic as well, because he is a hunter and he always wants to be the best. He wants the biggest trophy, and he sees the beast as that opportunity to get that big trophy. That's really what he sees the beast as. So I just like his character. He's well played, and even the live action version, Luke Evans doesn't do a bad job. I think he's fine. I wish he would have bulked up a little bit for the role, but overall, though, he character or acting wise, he did a decent job. But
Yeah.
Gaston is my number 2.
Awesome. All right, Derico, what's your number 2?
All right. Well, my number 2 isn't on the humor level at all. As a matter of fact, there's nothing pleasant about this villain whatsoever, which is why I had to put him up very, very high. My number 2 is Claude Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
And in years, I've got to
Yeah. I haven't either. I can only watch that once because that villain terrified me to death.
God, I'd have to go back and watch, to be honest with you.
Talk about
Remember
He's
him?
scary. He's
Yeah.
talk about abusive. If you think if you think that stepmom of Cinderella is bad, you're gonna want to meet this guy because he is terrible in every which way. He starts off menacing to begin with, and then turns into pure terror. I can't watch that movie again because of him.
Wow.
Yeah, you gotta like when you hit me like that, you make my list. You just do.
You just made the list.
You just made the list. Yeah, there it is. So,
okay. Wow.
If you really want to go back and watch it, Josh, feel free, but be warned now, you're not going to like it.
I'm telling you, it's probably been 30 years. Like,
Yeah,
I don't remember this villain.
No, you believe me, he'll make you remember him.
Yeah.
He's a good one. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, very good. All right, Lily, what is your number 2?
My number 2, Derek already kind of brought this villain up already. Maleficent. I picked Maleficent.
Okay, I want to hear this.
For 2 reasons.
Okay.
Reason this would be funny. Reason number 1, she literally she puts this curse on Sleeping Beauty because she didn't get an invite to her christening. Like, there's no other reason. No one did anything to her. She just showed up and was like, "Oh, I didn't get an invitation." And like, she's so offended that she puts this curse on this little baby that she doesn't even know. And my number 2 reason goes with number 1. If I ever need to get to a level of petty, Maleficent is who I'm gonna draw inspiration from. That is just next level petty, and I just love how she shows up in like her entire demeanor. That she's so offended. Like, you just look at her in the faces that they animated her in. And even Angelina Jolie managed to capture that in that scene too. Now looking back on it, I don't like
that they try to make her good.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't like that they explained a backstory for her because I like the fact that she was just offended that she did not get an invitation. That is so much scarier because you're like, dude, you put a spell on my child because you didn't get an invitation. But I
And you know
love
what's
that
funny is that
scene.
they're actually worried how she's going to react because she didn't get an invitation.
Yeah, and that's crazy because they should have known that she was going to react that way. But
Don't let
that
her
gets
know.
me all the time because of that little scene where she arrives and she's like, "Oh dear, what an awkward situation." And she starts telling him all this and she's like, "What did she say? I kind of forget what she says, but then she goes, "Oh, you did think so," or something like that, where she's like just being very sarcastic and just like, what did she say? Let me see. Let me try to look for it because this is actually like a really good little line that has stayed with me forever. They tell her something like, "Oh, you're not wanted here," or something, and she's like, "Oh dear, what an awkward situation." But like
Oh
that
yeah,
whole, yeah,
the what's her name? Because she's like, I or Maleficent's like, I don't know why you wouldn't, uh, send me an invitation. And it was that the blue fairy turns around. She's like, because you weren't wanted.
yes, that's what she said, and
And she's like,
then
oh dear, this is
and that's where,
awkward.
yeah, so that's where she's like, okay, like I guess I'll leave now. But then the fairies or somebody tells her like, okay, well now you need to bestow on her like a gift or something because you're here and that's what christenings are about and everyone's supposed to whatever. So then she plays along too and she's like, okay, yeah, she's gonna grow up to be like beautiful and this and that. But then she puts the curse on her that she's gonna prick her finger on a spindle and like
There's your pitch.
that's why I love Maleficent. She's just scary and try to do all this to a baby because she didn't get invited to a party.
And keep in mind when Sleeping Beauty was supposed to when she was gonna prick her finger on the spinning wheel, she was actually supposed to die.
She was.
I
Yeah,
mean,
she was
it
supposed to
wasn't
die.
like it was just putting her to sleep. It was because one of the fairies still had a gift left
It
to
was just
give
the
and was
blue one
able
was
to
last.
soften the blow.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
blue one
Yeah,
hadn't gone,
so
and
she
so she
was
said, "No, no, I got it."
yeah, so she was supposed to die, and that's why I'm like, geez, Maleficent, like that is like levels of petty. That is just crazy to me. And her design is just amazing. I love what they did with her with like that's why I think that I associate all the purples and greens with like Halloween and evil stuff because of Maleficent. Like that scene where she turns into the dragon, like this big purple dragon, and everything is like green around her that just sets up like this like super cool tone and I just love her. I love her because she's so petty. Like it's even admirable how petty she is. That's why she made my number 2.
Mhm.
She's good.
It's a good one.
All right. So very good. My number 2 is someone you guys have mentioned, Ursula.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah,
cannot, like
Ursula.
Eric mentioned, she's a big baddie. She I mean, I remember her from when Little Mermaid came out, and she just the poor unfortunate soul in pain, in need. I mean, she's just so dark and like literally like so crazy and would like take Ariel's voice away from her, And then when she even became human, and disguised herself and, Scuttle sees her in the mirror and, kind of swallows, and just she had such a devious plan, and the actress who played her did such a good job with it. And, yeah, just Ursula is just to me, exemplifies evil and the way she treated, just how she manipulated everything was pure genius in my so
Yeah,
she
she's
to
a great
me,
one.
it's who I remember, um, really big time from my childhood. And yeah, she's my number 2.
Still
All
hold
right.
up.
All right, guys, the big reveal. Your
Number
number 1
1.
Disney villain of all time. Let's go with Lily. Lily, who is it?
So, when Bob mentioned this to me, there was no other villain I could have put at number 1. This is the first one that came to my mind. Derek already mentioned this character. He is despicable. There is nothing that you can say that like saves him at all. Like he's just so scary. It's Count Frollo.
Oh, really? Was he number one for you? Oh man.
He's my number
Really?
one because he is just there's no saving this character that you can say like maybe there's like an ounce of good or like he's funny or something that makes him kind of a lovable kind of villain, but nothing. He is terrifying, and the fact that like this scares me even more because of the way that he treated and was so obsessed with Esmeralda.
Mhm.
That
Oh, yeah,
is
yeah.
terrifying to me because like my experience as a woman, I think that is probably the worst thing that could happen to you is to have a creep like that
Oh
just
God.
absolutely obsessed with you to the point where he's trying to murder everyone, and even at some point is trying to kill you because he can't have you. Like that is
Yep.
just it's terrifying. He's scary. His villain song is so scary.
Yeah.
Like I think Disney after they released that, they were like, I think we went a little too far. Let's never make a Disney villain like this ever again.
You start to wonder. They're just like, no, too funny. We got to get darker. And then they're like, oh no, you know what? Bad idea.
Too dark. Too
No.
dark.
Yeah.
Yes, he is just scary. Like just scary, terrifying. And I think it's that aspect too, is that he's obsessed with Esmeralda. He's just like so
Ugh.
scary. Oh yeah, I'm like Derek. I can't even like think about him because he gives me like the freaking
I gotta check
heebie-jeebies.
that out.
Blah. Yeah, I hate him.
The name of his song was Hellfire, wasn't it?
Yes, yes.
For a Disney movie?
Hellfire.
Yes.
Yes,
Crazy.
Hellfire.
Yeah, it's awful.
Like he's scary. Just go back
Yeah.
and watch it, Josh. Like it's even
I
for
gotta
now,
watch
like
it.
as an
I'm gonna watch
adult, I'm like Derek. He stayed with me, and that's not a movie that I'll watch because he's just so terrifying. I don't like seeing him do all the things that he does.
No, I don't want to. Like it gets to a point where you're just so disturbed. You're like, no, I don't want anything to do with this. He
Yeah,
makes
just
me-
when you think he
Yeah.
can't get worse, like he just keeps
does.
getting worse and worse and worse as this whole entire movie goes on.
Mhm.
Got it.
Awful.
Crazy, crazy. All right, Derico, your number one Disney movie of all time. I mean, Disney movie. Disney
We
villain.
covered that already.
All
All right.
What's your Disney movie?
So mine isn't like the most well known, but it's the one that stayed with me ever since I was a little kid. Mine is Chernabog from Fantasia.
Oh my! I had a feeling you were going to go towards that. Is that funny?
Yeah. He's a Slavic god who raises the dead on a place called Bald Mountain. Now, I understand why you would think that I would be into Bald Mountain, but that's also just not a nice place. Like when you really hear it, you're just like Bald Mountain. Ugh, that's weird. But if you take a look at the character itself, you name me one metal album he wouldn't be on the cover of. He'd be on every single one. He is when you look at him, that is what a villain looks like. That is Disney and a half. It's fantasy all over the place, and that's what a villain should look like. Is this black, yellow-eyed demon. It's fantastic. He has stayed with me ever since I was a little kid.
Oh yeah.
He looks so cool, but so scary at the same time. And you never hear him talk. There's no voice to him. It's to me the one that has stuck with me this whole time, and I think that says something. So that's my number one.
That's awesome. All right, Mr. Robert.
All right.
What is your number
I actually
one villain?
debated between a few here. My first choice was Kathleen Kennedy. My second choice
Dave Filoni.
was Dave
Filoni
Filoni.
is good.
Third was Bob Iger. So I had several choices on here, but I actually came up with a tandem. It's a team, a villain team here, because we talked about Iago, and how he outshines Jafar in a lot of ways. Well, I had to include this sidekick with this character because that's kind of what makes the character even that much more fun. And that is Percival C. McLeach and Joanna from that iguana from The Rescuers Down Under.
Oh my
I love
god.
that movie.
The poacher.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's a
I think
poacher.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that is one of your all-time favorite Disney movies.
Yeah, he's a great character. I love when he first accidentally catches the kid. When he's and he's walking over there and he's got his gun, and he's got Joanna with him, and he's like, "All right, Joanna, what did we catch? A razorback and what?" And he's looking all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, it's a boy," and then he realizes he doesn't want the boy to know he's a poacher, so he turns around and kicks Joanna, and he's like, "Joanna, you've been digging holes again," The scene where and we talked about this when we talked our Disney movies, but the scene where Joanna's eating all the eggs out of his lunch pail is hilarious. And he keeps trying to catch her and he keeps trying to move the lunch pail, and she'll turn around and move something, so he'll go over, and then you'll see the lunch pail, the lid just open and close where she's eating all the eggs. I think that's a hilarious scene. McLeach, he's very sarcastic. Like at one point the boy says, "You know what? I'm gonna call the Rangers and tell them what you're doing." He's like, "Oh my god, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Oh, please don't call the Rangers, please." And you got Joanna, she's sitting there just laughing. And one of the scene that I want to highlight is where or two of the scenes, but one is where Joanna goes to eat the eagle's eggs, and she gets all excited and she goes running to jump off the cliff to go down to the eagle's eggs, and then all of a sudden she realizes it's a deep drop, and so she's like and he ends up picking her off to go get the eggs. And when she goes down there, Bernard the mouse had switched the eggs for rocks. And so she's sitting there biting on them, and her teeth are falling out. And she goes to scratch them open, and her nails get filed down. I think that's a great scene. And even McLeach's death scene, you see him fighting with these crocs in the water and moving towards a waterfall. And he's celebrating when the crocs take off, and he's like, "I whooped you!" And all of a sudden, you see Joanna just looking at McLeach, and she's just. So it's their tandem that they've got. I think that makes for a really cool villain team there, and the way he's drawn, for a poacher, he looks evil, and scary looking. So McLeach and Joanna, that is my number one villain. So, and it's actually a tandem.
So my number one Disney villain of all time is the one that started it all, the evil queen from Snow White.
I'm so glad you said that because I put that on the thumbnail. So
Did you really?
I did.
You know what? I considered her. Why? You know what? I probably didn't consider her at all because of the new movie that's coming out. I was like, oh gosh.
I mean, you could have included Rachel
she's
Zegler on
scary.
there, but yeah.
I cannot wait to see
But
this
no,
new
yeah,
movie, this
that's
new
a
Snow
good thing
White
that.
movie.
Yeah, it's a good thing you brought her up because she is really scary too. That would have been perfect on
is
my list
terrifying.
too. Yeah, she
I
is
know.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. I'm excited for the new Snow White movie. I'm going to be there opening day.
Oh my gosh.
You know it's going to be so good. I'm going to tweet about it, how good it is. No, I'm completely lying about it. The fact that Gal Gadot is so much hotter than Snow White. There you go.
They're gonna make her not hot. That's the whole point of her.
Yeah, no, they did show. Yeah, it's amazing, that movie. First of all, it starts out with her wanting to kill her.
Yeah.
And sends a hunter out to kill her. Then when he doesn't do it, she says, "I will take care of it myself." I still can't believe she didn't find him and kill him. But
how old is she supposed to be? She's a Snow White. She's supposed to be what, like 16?
17.
17.
I think
Okay.
she's like 17. And then she turns into the evil witch and convinces her to eat the apple. And just a great villain that Walt Disney was able to, get there on screen so many years ago. Funny thing is, we were at Disneyland last time, and we're walking, and we see the evil witch walk by us, and I just yell out, "Mirror, mirror on the wall!" And she looks at me and she goes, "It's magic mirror, you fool!" And Charlie and
Oh,
are laughing, and I go, "Mom, is that you?"
oh my god.
Gosh, Josh, you get it from everywhere. Not even.
So, I mean, just how
Not just
dangerous
us.
this is. Magic, it's a magic mirror, you fool. I'm like, wow, Mom, really?
Even
Wow.
gets you. Even the Disney character got
I know, right? Maybe I should have said that. It was so random because we were right by the castle. We were sitting, and she walks by, and I'm like, "Mirror, mirror on the wall." She just stops and looks at me. "It's magic mirror, you fool."
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Charlie starts laughing, and Lisa's like, "Oh."
Pay her
schooled.
extra.
Yeah, you get schooled, buddy.
I was like, but anyway, she to me was an amazing villain. Um, and died at the end, but really was I think she's gotta be number one. So even the look when she's an old lady and all haggard and just amazing.
Yeah.
But all right, well, very good podcast tonight, you guys. Very interesting. Why don't we finish this up with social media? Lily, you are our guest. Where can we find you?
So you can find me on X at 300 Mares, and then in my profile I have everything else that links to my Instagram, and hopefully eventually by the start of this year I'll actually start putting content on my YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, it's been too long. I've been putting off for too long. But other than that, you can still find me on Mondays on Midnight's Edge at Toxic Femininity. I'll be popping in there, so just make sure that you're on the lookout to see what Mondays I'll be there. And then also on Thursdays on Dames and Dorks, and that's the podcast that I host with all the other girls with Nomi, Tabitha, Savvy, and Dr. Rachel. So make sure that you guys are tuning in for that as well. And now the Skeleton Crew started, you guys have to come back. You have to come back to the show, and yes, we need to have you guys back so we can talk more Star Wars. And yeah, that's basically it. Just make sure that you're following me for all the madness over there on X.
Now you guys are back Thursday with Dames and
Yes.
Dorks. Any subjects you want to let us know for our viewers? What you're going over, or you don't have that yet? That's so funny. What? What did I do?
Oh, it's going to be a great episode.
Yeah.
What did I miss? Derek's
You wanna
looking
tell
at me.
him?
Go ahead.
Do you want to tell them, Bob?
Okay, this is their 47th episode. And to celebrate their 47th
don't say it.
episode, they are going to be highlighting the 47th president of the United States, Donald
okay.
J. Trump.
Josh, I can see Josh completely regretting that.
Oh God! Of all the things.
And I have been nice to you two and not rubbed it in, but I am going to be watching that episode. I am going to enjoy every moment of that episode.
Oh my God!
You're gonna be on that episode.
Yes, I'm actually going to be popping in on that episode because they're going to have guests to pop in and
Derek's like, I'm
celebrate
outta here.
with them. So I'll be
Derek's
popping
not
in
here.
that one.
I'm still here.
I'll actually, hopefully, I'll have a MAGA hat for that. So
That was the only thing we could do. Yes, we're all very supportive of our 47th and 45th president. So we decided that what better thing to do is just have an entire celebration, and we're gonna kind of have an all-stars kind of episode. So we're gonna have Bob on there and a couple other people appearing on there to kind of give our commentary on everything.
Okay. Very good.
So it should be very interesting.
Another reason I feel like a winner tonight.
On that note, let's go ahead.
Josh is like,
Derek.
all right, this is over. Bye.
Yeah, Derek, where can we find you? Probably not at the inauguration in January.
I think I got
Me either.
I got something to do that day, like taxes or something. Well, you can find me over. Well, Josh actually did a pretty good job dating us tonight. When we talked about Who Framed Roger Rabbit and how old we were.
Yes.
So now I'm still with the old people as a result of that on LinkedIn and Facebook.
All right. Very
Ever
cool.
why don't you ask Lily how much she weighs while you're at it? Like,
I know, Josh.
Well, we practically asked her age before you came on stream.
Oh, really?
Like, jeez, Josh. I'm like, man, you got that foot and mouth disease.
You got to work on that.
Josh is gonna request like medical records next stream.
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind providing us with the social security number next time.
That's what I want to say right now, but I'm just going to go on to Bob. Bob, where can we find you now?
Well, you can find me on Dames and Dorks on Thursday.
Celebrating.
Seriously, you can find me over on my YouTube channel at Bob Loves Movies. You can also find me on X and Criticless, and hopefully, like I said, I'll have that video out. Hopefully within the next couple of days. I've literally been working on it since Friday because, like I said, there was a lot of prep work that went into it, but I already started filming it and got through a couple of movies already. So hopefully in a couple of days.
Nice.
All right, very cool. And you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on X as well. I'm the family man of the Valley. I'm a realtor here in Southern California. So if you want to buy or, sell your house, now that apparently there'll be a lot of money out there, give me a call. Bob will be buying a house probably in California soon. So that'll be good.
No.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, on that note, hopefully we'll be on Dames and Dorks soon. We'll figure that out. Thank you for the invite, Lily. We will not be on the
you guys are more than welcome to show up on episode 47.
Yeah, I don't probably not. But we'll see. Look at Derek.
Derek's like, Derek's gonna be too busy washing his hair that day.
Yeah, I gotta go back. Well, now I gotta go back and watch the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Don't worry, guys. I'll plug the show. So
don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Go have fun. You'll enjoy.
Well, I'm just glad you guys are good sports. And then me and Bob didn't instantly get kicked off the stream.
No, you guys still here. Look at you guys.
You're still here. You're lucky. Well, because Bob's running it. If one of us was,
yeah, I know it's true.
Oh my God,
we'd be the first to get kicked off, not you two.
I love these two guys. We get along no matter what. So
yeah, we do.
No,
all right, guys.
Same goes to you too, Lily. We may give you each other gifts here, but thank you so much for coming on again. It's always a blast.
Thank you, and then we'll figure out the next step. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a great evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night. Bye.
Okay,